All right, y'all. So I hope everybody can hear me. Thank you, everybody, for your patience. I decided to do things a little bit different tonight because when I went back and listened to my last live, because I was using my Bluetooth audio, I couldn't, it kept cutting in and out because I think my Bluetooth set needs to be replaced. So I'm going to increase the volume. Y'all give me a quick second so I can check my social media pages and make for sure that everything is, basically that the notifications are out that I'm on. Shout out to my DzPeepz. I just want to tell every last one of y'all that I appreciate you. Thank you for all of my new viewers. Thank you to all of my new subscribers, especially the people who have subscribed since my last live. I really do appreciate you all so much. As you are joining the live, let me know that you can hear me. Because, like I said, I'm just using the audio off of my laptop tonight and not my Bluetooth since it has been having some technical difficulties. So, give me a second. I'm going to check my channel right quick. Hold on. Let me see if I can hear myself on my phone and stuff. Give me 1 second. Thank everybody for your patience. Like I said, as you come into the live, if you can drop down in the comments, let me know if you can hear me. Okay. Because, yeah, this retrograde, all these planets in retrograde are affecting the technology tonight. So I'm just trying to make for sure the audio is working. Give me 1 second. Okay. So I can hear it on my Facebook page. I can hear it on um, my YouTube page. So it sounds like it's working. Okay. So anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. Again, shout out to my D's peeps. I appreciate you all for your viewing and subscribing. Tonight, we're going to, of course, continue to talk about Diddy and the lawsuit because I was doing some research. I'm going to show you guys, share my screen, and show you some content. And yes, believe it or not, Prince Harry has been named in the Diddy lawsuit. Pretty much everyone who attended these parties, who's very well known, are all kind of coming under fire right now. And so, like I said, I want to cover a lot of this stuff tonight. And then I did watch the interview um, with Piers Morgan when he interviewed Jaguar Wright, as well as DJ Vlad. And I watched the whole entire interview from beginning to end. So we'll go over that as well. And then probably tomorrow or Sunday, I'll go more into depth with that interview because I've never liked Vlad. I'm gonna be honest. Vlad, I started knowing who he was from watching the Boondocks, the animated series years ago, and he was the white DJ even on that animation. And I was like, who's DJ Vlad? So like I looked him up on YouTube, and at first I was following him, and then I realized he's definitely an industry plant. And the fact that he was so quick to minimalize what Jaguar Wright was, her account of what she was, saying like had happened and everything. It just was crazy to me the way he quickly called her a conspiracy theorist and was so quick to dismiss, her truth and her sharing what happened to her and her sharing her story. So tonight we're going to talk about Prince Harry. We're going to talk about Young Miami being involved in the case and coming under fire. We're going to talk about Wendy Williams. We're going to even talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z, and of course, Claudia Jordan slamming, that she basically never dated Diddy, even though there is photos out there that kind of are very questionable. So again, y'all, thanks for tuning in. And thank you to everybody who has subscribed. Thank you to those who have been promoting my channel. Shout out to all of y'all. I really do appreciate the support. And give me a second because I don't know what's going on. My phone has really been tripping. And I can't even use the Wi-Fi here because it's unstable. So y'all bear with me because I'm actually using my hotspot for this live tonight. So like I said, I know there's about 5 planets still in retrograde, and they have been retrograding all day with the technology issues, but yet and still we are here. So shout out to my DzPeepz. Thank you all. For those who have not, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel at Just D Show. For those who are following me on social media, it is the same at Just D Show all together. And let's get started. So the first thing that I want to present, because I'm going to try to not be as long tonight with my live because I've got a lot to get done tomorrow morning. So the first thing I want to present is the first article, because I told y'all I don't just be saying shit on my live. I actually research and show you guys the receipts so that you can also research where I'm finding the content. So it says, why Prince Harry is named in the 30 million Sean Diddy Combs sexual assault lawsuit. Well, he's been named in the lawsuit in which Diddy is being accused of sex trafficking and sexual abuse. So basically, a lot of Diddy's, like it says, his VIP associations with celebrities, definitely a lot of athletes, politicians, artists, musicians, and even international dignitaries such as Prince Harry. They're all coming under fire for the fact that they attended his white parties, as he called them, his freak-offs or whatever. Now, it says there's no suggestion of any wrongdoing, but he's mentioned on the documents as an example of a well-known celebrity associate of Combs. Now, in the thumbnail that I edited, let me see if I can pull that up. I don't think it's going to let me. No, it won't. Well, anyways, in the thumbnail that I edited for the live, as you can see, there's a photo of Diddy with, Prince Harry, and Kanye, and the other, I forget his name, hold on. I forget the other guy, the other British dignitary, because I don't, pay too much attention to the British, because I just don't. Prince William, that's his name. I had to look it up real quick. I knew it was Prince something, but I couldn't remember his actual name. So in the thumbnail that I edited, I added people in there. It's Prince Harry and Prince William. And there is another article where they talked about Diddy wanting to party with both of them when they were young. So, like I said, what Diddy's being accused of seems to definitely be a trend in his appetite for younger males, and even adult males, allegedly, that he likes to quote unquote party with, and have at his parties. So give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, I lost track of the page I was on. But yeah, basically Prince Harry is even being named in this lawsuit. So as you can see, everybody who's quote unquote anybody have attended these parties. And I hate that certain people are trying to make this seem so nonchalant and all these other things. So like they said, Combs is also facing lawsuits from 3 other women, while 2 of his properties in Miami and LA are being searched by federal agents. Then of course you guys know the whole issue with the alleged baby oil lube, which again, I really believe is GHB. But basically, Diddy is trying to deny it. So like he says, people are looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged, but we literally saw you beat Cassie's ass on camera, which is why I have an issue with what Vlad said tonight. And as a matter of fact, let me just go into that. I do want to show y'all this before I do. I'm going to show y'all this other list, because this is how Beyonce gets pulled into this. So this article, Diddy's whitelist, Beyonce, J-Lo, Justin Bieber, Usher, and more, what celebrities have said about the infamous parties. Of course, some of them are denying involvement in the parties, even though there's clear photos, just like J-Lo and Leonardo DiCaprio and all of them. But yeah, his list includes Beyonce and Jay-Z, J-Lo, Justin Bieber, Usher, of course. And then as well, it goes on to A-listers like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jay-Z, Beyonce, Ashton Kutcher, Paris Hilton, Howard Stern, Kim Kardashian, Russell Brand, Mariah Carey, which I was kind of surprised at that, but not really, because everybody in the industry is birds of a feather flock together. Definitely Nick Cannon, which I talked about on my last live. Jennifer Lopez, who allegedly participated in some of the essay with the women, allegedly. I don't know if it's true, but that's just what they're saying. Russell Simmons, which it is ironic that Russell Simmons dipped out the country. I feel like Russell knew that this shit was coming. Because, yeah, he got nervous when he started being accused of SA by random women. But I think the real reason he left is because he knew this shit with Diddy was about to hit the fan and he didn't want to be anywhere near it. Usher, Megan Fox, Kelly Osbourne, Aretha Franklin, which I was surprised at that. Martha Stewart, not surprised at all because she kicks it with Snoop, and Snoop has definitely been at these parties. Tommy Lee, Pamela Anderson, Regis Philbin, even Vera Wang. All these people, you know, have been named as attending these freak-offs. And it just kind of makes you wonder about the industry. Like, I love music. I love to sing and write and play music, but never in my life have I wanted to be a part of this type of bullshit. So like I said, I want to kind of segue in. I definitely want to show y'all this article about him being accused of SA by a 9-year-old. Can you imagine a 9-year-old at a party being abused by a grown man? It's just despicable. And again, this is brought by TMZ. So Diddy allegedly sexually abused a 9-year-old boy. So it's not just women and young girls, it's also allegedly men and young boys. And of course, he's going to deny it, but we're talking over 120 accusers, including allegations Diddy sexually abused a 9-year-old boy. That just honestly really makes me sad, because that's the same age I was at when I was being sexually abused. It started when I was 8 and it didn't stop until I was 11. And yeah, it says there's a wave of lawsuits that are going to be filed in the next 30 days. Let me go back to the date of this article. This was just 3 days ago on the 1st. And, you know, it looks like it's a Houston-based law firm representing the accusers. So I am happy about that. You know, H-Town representing, I'm in Houston. But it's a very sad situation when there are young, in my heart, young babies. A 9-year-old is still a baby to me. I've got 15 nieces and nephews, and I just cannot for the life of me imagine even my youngest niece, something like this happening to her. It would make me absolutely livid because of what happened even to me. So yeah, they're saying a wave of lawsuits are to be filed in the next 30 days. They claim that Diddy lured a 9-year-old to an audition with the promise of a record deal and then allegedly sexually abused him. And anyone who has been in or around the industry knows that there are producers and there's artists and there's, you know, rappers that are not abusive, but there's a lot that are. And the reason they get away with it is because people are usually too afraid to come forward for fear of retaliation. Just like when it happened to me, if a person can threaten you and make you feel like if you tell, this is going to happen to you, that's the reason you don't tell, because you don't want further abuse happening to you. I just want to play a little bit of this video to see what.
This is the type of indictment you would expect from someone in the mafia.
I don't know that I could keep him off the stand. He is very eager to tell his story.
They're going to show that video over and over and over about what happens to women that won't change.
I mean, just watching that brief clip, it just triggered something in me, because and you'll see when I present the interview with Jaguar Wright, that was on with Piers Morgan. He even said, I was a fan of Diddy. I've met Diddy until I saw the video of him beating Cassie. He said, I had to come to a conclusion that if this man was willing to do that to someone he loved in public, knowing that there could be cameras, he said, I just cannot imagine what he's done behind closed doors. That's why when people like Vlad completely try to minimize or, say it's a conspiracy theory, and quiet as is kept, it was said that Vlad was at these parties too and participated allegedly in the abuse as well, which is why he responded to Jaguar Wright the way that he did. People who abuse others and have gotten away with it want to continue getting away with it. They never want to be exposed. So they're always going to call you a conspiracy theorist or say you're crazy. Like Dave Chappelle said years ago, calling a person crazy is dismissive. The minute you can make that person publicly look like they are not stable, no one's going to believe them. So now it makes sense why Jay-Z threatened allegedly Jaguar Wright and the whole agenda against making her look nuts, having her arrested. Allegedly, they supposedly had something to do with her son that passed away, rest in peace to her son. It's just the lengths that these predators and these diabolical, low vibrational people will go to hide and cover what they do is just unimaginable. And I am so glad that they are not letting Diddy get out on bail, because I'm going to play the video of the interview. I'm not going to play all the video, but I'm going to play clips that I found were important, where even Vlad was like, well, I'm just surprised he's didn't get out on bail. And I'm looking like, are you serious? Did you not see this very same video that we all saw of him beating Cassie's ass? Like, the fact that he's so dead and cold to that lets me know that Vlad is clearly of the same breed. You're clearly on the same vibration of this type of abuse. If you can watch this and it doesn't trigger something in you that is so heartbreaking to see this man kick her like she's literally a dog or a piece of shit. It just was unimaginable to me.
Over and over and over about what happens.
I mean, like it's like she doesn't mean anything.
His reputation is over.
The United States government, they start making this case as a takedown of a successful black man.
TMZ presents the downfall of Diddy, the indictment.
And that's the thing I don't like, is him saying, oh, it's a quick payday, it's a money grab. You know full well what you have done, not only to Cassie, but to all these other people. And the people, you got to pay attention to who's being silent. Justin Bieber has not made a public, he hasn't done any sort of like press, review. He has not come out and said a lot. He's dropped nuggets. He's dropped information here and there because these people are afraid of this man. He has a lot of money and allegedly a lot of power, but what he doesn't have is power over the Most High. See, he can pay all the people he wants to pay and put the plants in place like Vlad and everybody else to try to minimize or try to be dismissive of those who are coming forward. But God is doing this for a reason, because this type of bullshit needs to stop. And as somebody who has gone through this, as somebody who has survived sexual abuse as a child and sexual abuse as an adult, I'm absolutely glad that they are getting this monster, because in my opinion, that's absolutely what he is. He is a monster and he needs to be held responsible.
now streaming on Tubi.
Our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females. When we talk about the...
Did y'all hear that? 60 males and 60 females. So Diddy had Wendy Williams. Let's go to that. Diddy had Wendy Williams fired from Hot 97, I believe it was. And because she came out years ago saying that she had evidence of photos that she was sent of him participating in what they call gay behavior. Now, I am, as y'all know, I don't judge people for their sexuality. I have been open about mine. Yes, I guess you consider bisexual. I'm attracted to women and men. But there's so many down low men out here who use women as beards, who know that they have attractions to other men, but because they're afraid of being judged, you know, they don't publicly come out. And that's up to each individual person, whether or not they want to come out. Nobody is forcing you. You don't have to. But I find it a hit dog will holla. Because the fact that he told Hot 97, if you don't fire Wendy Williams, I'm going to sue y'all. If it wasn't true, why would you go as far as having her fired or threatening to sue their radio station, all because she said she had evidence? What that tells me is that the evidence must have been real. So this is the article, because I saw this circulating on social media where they were saying, you know, Wendy Williams breaks her silence after Diddy's arrest, as her past comments about him resurfaced. And she talked about this years ago. So, you know, she's basically saying what is really weird is that I've been told by so many people, Wendy, you called it, including some people from my family who have said the same. And she shared her thoughts about the video that I just showed you of Diddy assaulting Cassie. And she says, you know how I feel about that? It's about time. To see this video on TV of Cassie getting pummeled, it was just horrific. But now you have to think, how many more times? How many people? How many more women? It's just so horrible. So they're saying 60 men and women. That's just the ones who have decided to have the courage to come forward. That means there's probably hundreds more who have not. Hundreds more who are still afraid to tell their story for fear of retaliation, for fear of, you know, being threatened or being killed. A matter of fact, let me go to this one about Claudia Jordan, since we're saying that, because there's rumors that Claudia was dating Diddy. Let me show y'all this because of this old post. This is her old MySpace. So, and I found this online. It's not hard to find the information. So this is her old MySpace page. And hell, I haven't been on MySpace since the years on here. You know, it's been, what, 15 plus years. But she has a picture here shown with Diddy. And my thing is this. If Claudia didn't date him, why take the picture? And Jaguar said that in the interview. She said, I would not be as, and these are Jaguar's words, not mine, but she said, I would not be as dumb as to take a picture with someone who is known as a predator and a monster. Now, Claudia right now is threatening to sue Jaguar for her comments claiming that she dated Diddy, because she claims that she didn't. She just took a picture. You know, he's someone famous. I'm a fan. But Claudia, you were a video vixen. You did date a lot of these men in the industry. I'm not saying she dated Diddy, but she definitely dated quite a few men in the industry. And quite as it's kept, it was alleged that she dated Jay-Z. So here's where I'm at with that. I met Claudia in person. We shared stories about what we've been through with sexual assault. I'm an empath clairvoyant. I feel people's energy. She felt very genuine when I met her. But her going on live on Instagram and basically trying to clear her name and saying that she never dated Diddy, and when she went to the party, she never witnessed anything. But my love, you have been sexually abused as well. So it doesn't help, because it almost looks like, and I'm just being real, y'all know I keep it a stat. It almost looks like you're defending Diddy, or you're saying, well, it didn't happen to me. It doesn't help the victims that it did happen to. And I'm going to be real with you, my love. This is not a good look. Even if you didn't date him, why have this out there for people to be able to see and then get mad when people make assumptions that you dated him? I'm just saying, why even get mad? Because technically you the one that put this shit out there. So it just, for me, I look at people differently when I start to see them kind of flip-flopping and you know, seeing that ain't a good look. Now I'm gonna go to this. This is the live she did on Instagram that is circulating on YouTube.
I don't do that the other girl shit. I'm very adamant against that. B, I don't want to keep attached to Diddy like that. I was cool with Kim Porter. It was not a good look for me, and he just had the twins. So anyways, I started calling, trying to get the shit taken down. This motherfucker texted me 56 times in one day. And his mood.
I just want y'all to hear that. 56 times in one day is a psychopath. 56 times in one day is you are mentally unstable. Now, I can see a few texts, but 56? And why, and above all, Claudia, you saying you didn't date him, why does he have your number? That's what I want to know. Why does he even have close proximity to be able to text you? It just is suspect, my love. I'm gonna be honest. That shit looks suspect as hell to me.
Went from, baby girl, why are our pictures, to, if I thought you did this on purpose, I would have had you.
Wait, and then she just said, baby girl, why are our pictures out there? Now, see, Scorpio shit. I'm Scorpio, right? We analyze everything. Earlier on your live, you said y'all was barely friends. That you just took the picture on MySpace because you were a fan and you wanted to get more views on your MySpace. Now you saying he texted you saying, why are our pictures on the internet? Baby girl, that sounds like y'all was dating. I'm giving you my opinion. I'm not saying that you did. Don't come for me talking about suing shit. This is my opinion. Just like everybody else gives reaction videos. This is my reaction. This is my opinion. It doesn't make you look innocent to, one, have the pictures out there, and two, say he's texting you, which means y'all have to be in some sort of friendship type relationship for him to even have your number to text you. Because I'm not even a celebrity, and a lot of people don't even have my number. I can count on my hand the amount of people that actually have my private phone number. Most of them have my Google Voice, which is just a business Google Voice number. I don't even fuck people like that. You're a whole celebrity and you got this alleged sexual abuser texting you. It's not a good look, my love. And him saying, why are our pictures out there, definitely sound like y'all was involved more than just friends. I'm just saying. That's my opinion.
This on purpose, I would have had you hurt. And it got, why are our pictures, too? If I thought you did this on purpose, I would have had you one day. And his moods went from, baby girl, why are our pictures, too? If I thought you did this on purpose, I would have had you hurt. And it got crazy. So I called him back one time with my publicist friend on the line, and she heard him say that he would make me disappear. So then I had to buck up back with him and said, look, motherfucker, don't talk to me like that. I'm not scared of you. This is before I heard about some of the other shitty doing, right? Hanging people upside down out of buildings. So I was popping off like, man, fuck you. You ain't about to talk to me like that. And then he goes, what are you wearing? And his tone changed. And I go, what? I never talked to him again.
That definitely sounds like mental illness. Went from why is our picture circulating to I'm gonna have you killed to what are you wearing? What that actually sounds like, all jokes aside, is schizophrenia. Because people that are schizophrenic have multiple personalities, and that's really a spiritual disease. just like bipolar disorder, when you shift personalities and spirits and energy, that's really what it is. So Diddy is suffering from some sort of definitely an addiction, definitely pills, powder, and other shit. But he's also suffering from his own childhood trauma and spiritual abuse. My next live is where I'm going to go more into depth about the spiritual side that makes a predator a predator. Because I did find some video footage of him and his mother, and it just gave incest, inappropriate relationship. Because I just in my life, as a like, even I got 15 nieces and nephews, right, that I helped raise. A lot of them, you know, I seen while they were in the womb and connected with them. Love my babies. You know, Scorpios are it's in our nature for us to be, as people say, obsessive. So anything I love it a lot. Anything I can't stand it a lot. And I can remember having a premonition of one of my nieces, actually two of my nieces, my sister's youngest daughters. And when they were born, I just loved on them so much, but never kissed them on the lips, ever. Kiss them on the cheek, you know, forehead, whatever, hug them. But there's just a level of boundaries that you have with a child, even if it's your child. I can't imagine a man, a grown man at that, just publicly and comfortably kissing his mom right on the lips, and the mom looking at him adoringly like he's her man. I will show y'all that footage. If I don't get to do it tonight, I'll do it on my next live. But what Claudia is describing right here is definitely schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder. And a lot of that does come from prolonged drug abuse that he allegedly has been involved in, as well as unhealed trauma. But this is just a little nuts.
He never called me after that. And I have the phone still. I just have to, like, I couldn't charge it. The charge port went dead. So I still kept it, right? I have it. So
yeah, that's a little creepy. I'm gonna keep it real. That's a little creepy for him to have switched personalities like that. And then there's the other account. Hold on. So this is the interview. We'll go over the interview, but I want y'all to finish listening to the news report, because it's like so many people are basically sharing the same type of story about him.
The ages of the victims when the conduct occurred. It's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts.
That is disgusting. 25 of these people were minors. So you have to wonder who shaped Diddy to become a monster. On the video, I need to find that video, as a matter of fact, because I do want to show y'all the video of him with his mom that was just like super creepy. They say his dad was a gangster and a pimp, and his mom allegedly was a madam. I told y'all I am an empath, psychic, medium, clairvoyant. I feel and pick up on energy, and usually what I feel is on point. The mom definitely gives madam, and I showed y'all on the last live that photo of her. And I think I might even showed y'all a little bit of that video where her nails are white, just like what Cassie described in her case. You know, that the women had to, basically, he's a cuckold where he got off on watching men have sex with Cassie and other women, you know, the sex workers. And Cassie gave her account of how he made them paint their nails white. So let me pull up. Hold on, because it's playing these commercials. I gotta let this play so I can skip to it. But you'll see that in the video where his mom has white nails and it's just very creepy. Okay, hold on, I found the video. I'm gonna share this real quick, and then we'll go back to that.
Honestly, something no kid should be exposed to. While most of us would probably try to wash our eyes with acid after that, for Diddy, things might have been different. According to some theories, he might have learned about freak-offs from his mom. And get this, there might be the faintest possibility that Janice might have forced Diddy to watch her freak-offs instead of him sneaking up on her. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. Diddy and Janice don't exactly have a typical mother-son relationship. I mean, what's with kissing each other on the lips?
Hi.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Ma?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Bro, that's nasty as hell. I'm sorry. I mean, the way she's looking at him, it feels forced. This is just, it's almost disturbing to watch this.
Ma, freshly dipped though.
See, her nails are white. He said, "Mom's freshly dipped." Let me rewind it so y'all can see that.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too. Ma, freshly dipped though.
So yeah, you can see you can see the white nails, you can see all the similarities. I really do believe in my heart of hearts that his mom is the reason he is the way he is. And I feel that his mom definitely is responsible for him becoming the man he is. But as an adult, we're all responsible for our own healing. Even if, and this is sick, and I honestly feel in my spirit that is what it is. Even if she did abuse him or condition him to that this is normal and showed him how to do the freak offs and allegedly showed him how to SA people, he still has a responsibility as an adult to heal that.
I was trying to show you. Yeah, my mom's is single. Mom's is single. I ain't gonna hate on my mom's.
And the fact that he's putting her out there, yeah, my mom is single, like it just, you know what, I don't even want to watch no more of that because it's disturbing. It is. That is just way too disturbing. But I really believe his mom is responsible for him being how he is today. I really do.
It's complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024.
1991 till now. 1991 until now. Did y'all hear that? 1991 until now. So he has been doing this for over 30 years. Actually, exactly 33 years, which is even more sickening because the positive side of numerology with 33 is completion. The dark side of 33 is even as it regards to 33rd degree Masons and all. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And that means he started doing this mess when he was 21, if he's now 54, which is extremely sad. And 21 is also means something in the negative side of numerology as it pertains to Freemasonry.
If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles.
So he has all these different properties where he has performed this sick and disgusting and twisted these acts. So give me 1 second. Because I want to show y'all this too. So a drug dealer who was dropping off at the freak-offs gave his account, and he was stunned because he said he witnessed household name celebrities engaging in sexual activities with each other, meaning men. And he said that Diddy had on nothing but a robe, led him to his former Hamptons mansion to a back bedroom for a cocaine transaction. And what unfolded shocked the drug dealer. He said unexpected encounters between celebrity men took place, leaving him astounded. Rappers whom he had previously respected were engaging in intimate acts with one another. And if y'all remember Cat Williams' stand-up years ago where he said, have you ever been to a mansion party and they have a party within a party and you go into the wrong room and you see some shit you didn't expect to see? He said, is that two men kissing? This has been alleged for decades. And the guy said many of these rappers and sex workers were already under the influence of ketamine and GHB. So we go back to this GHB again, where again, GHB is often placed in alcoholic beverages. And it gives you euphoria, increased sex drive, and tranquility for the positive effects. And the negative effects are sweating, loss of consciousness, nausea, hallucinations, amnesia, and coma. This is why it's so easy for, people to say, oh, that didn't happen. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're making it up. Well, if you drug everybody, at the parties, that's the whole point. It's more than just, oh, we're giving you this to, make you feel euphoric so that you'll participate. They also give it to you so that you don't remember. Like now that I'm saying that, let me share this where Love Jones on Storm Monroe's live. This was, when was this? 13 days ago. She talked about it. How she partied with Diddy's sons, which I still don't understand why you would, but some people might feel like it's safe or whatever. And she said how it made her feel.
When I was on the fucking Sprinter and I was like, I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm going. That's me on the Sprinter. I did not know where I was going. I remember going to a hotel. So I was in New York. Then
she just said I was in New York, and you can clearly see Diddy's sons in the background. So this is something that he is doing. Not only he's creating his own victims, he's creating he's basically creating a generational curse for his sons to continue the bullshit once he's out of the way. And his biological son, I believe his oldest son, has cases against himself right now. That there's women accusing his son of sexually assaulting them. So yeah, this needs to stop. And I hate to say it, if his sons really did that, I hope they lock them up next. I ain't even gonna say I hate to say it. I hope they catch his sons and lock them up before they can continue on for 33 years like he did.
To Queen.
It's nuts to me because they're gonna be playing these ads. It's just nuts to me that this goes on, and people like Vlad are trying to say, oh, this isn't real. You guys are conspiracy theorists and all this other bullshit. Now, with the Young Miami part of it, they're basically now calling her the black, I think you pronounced it, Ghislaine Maxwell, because basically they're alleging that she not only participated, but that she allegedly was abusive to the women too. That she enabled the abuse and that she helped to groom the women, and that supposedly the reason she is under review right now, because it says that Young Miami allegedly harassed Jane Doe by pressuring her into an abortion because one of Diddy's victims got pregnant. And they're saying it's raising critical questions about the complicity of women in abusive systems. So basically, they're comparing Young Miami to Epstein's chick to Maxwell, basically. that, you know, and I hate to say it, but I'm gonna say it. I hope they lock her ass up too. If she really did this shit, just like they locked up Epstein and Maxwell, she needs to be locked up too. She needs to be held accountable and she needs to be prosecuted. It's as simple as that. And I'm gonna be honest, I've never liked Young Miami because she carries dark energy. I've never liked her music. I've never liked her energy. From the moment I saw her hand in hand with Diddy, I already knew, yeah, she's dark. And they're even saying now that allegedly Mary J. Blige participated in this, which that breaks my heart because she was one of my favorite artists from the 90s, of course, until I healed and realized that her music was very low vibrational. But it's crazy to me, the women who have participated in this, because they're saying now possibly Young Miami has been involved in perpetuating the cycles of abuse wielded by powerful men, whether driven by loyalty, manipulation, or a desire for personal gain. These women often serve as crucial enablers, helping abusers maintain their grip on victims. The allegations against Young Miami emphasize the broader issue of how some women become instruments of control, coercing or manipulating victims under the influence of a dominant male figure. So, you know, it's crazy to me. And even, you know, the whole Beyonce, everyone is now, they're saying that she basically, her social media is coming under fire. Her fans want to know, you know, how involved she was in the freak offs. Now, I'm going to go into this interview because I don't care what nobody says. I don't believe that Jaguar Wright is a conspiracy theorist. I don't. I do believe at times on some of her interviews, because like I said, I've been following Storm Monroe for some years now. I do believe that sometimes she might kind of go off. I don't know if the thing she's saying is always true or not. But what I do know as a woman who has survived sexual abuse, if a woman has been abused, she is typically not going to lie about that. Now, I was surprised to hear Jaguar talk about and admit on this interview that she was a former, what they call a sex worker. She was a dominatrix, and that was her role at the freak offs. I was actually happy to hear her kind of go into, because I've always heard her say that she was at the parties, but never like her participation or exactly what she did. And I also want to clear this up because on my last live, when I talked about, you know, in my past, how I explored the BDSM world and swinging and shit, there was never a moment where I did that for money. Because somebody, you know, a few people had asked me that. So, you know, were you a sex worker? You know, no, not at all. I was just a freak. I'm a Scorpio. Hell. I was exploring that lifestyle at that time. And anything that I did, it was in play. That's why I told y'all it's called, you know, play and play partners. And I'm not condemning her or any other woman who, you know, has been a sex worker, who has or does get paid for what they do. Baby, do you. That is your choice. Ain't nobody judging you. But for those who were inquiring if I have done that, no. I have never been a prostitute. I have never sold my ass. I never will. And I've never gotten paid for anything that I did at any former swinging party or BDSM training session. It was me literally exploring the BDSM world, which ironically did help me heal from me being raped. You know, we'll go more into detail about that on another live, because there is certain activity that you can do to reenact you being abused and you being the person in control, and it takes away the trauma of it. That was honestly my reason for exploring it, because I just couldn't believe that when the chick I was, you know, dealing with at that time told me that. She's like, you can reenact what happened to you in a playful, safe session with safety words and kind of take control of the trauma, and it's a way to help you heal, believe it or not. But I was surprised and a little bit relieved to hear Jaguar Wright finally give her details on, you know, what her role was at the parties. So give me a second, because I can't remember if this is right where she started talking about it. But basically, this is the Piers Morgan interview. And I will say shout out to Jaguar. And I have so much more respect for Piers Morgan because he has to be diplomatic when it comes to these interviews. He can't really take sides. But when he said that he does care, I felt it as an empath. He really does. And you'll see Vlad right after Jaguar Wright say, oh, she's a conspiracy theorist. I don't co-sign anything she says, because Vlad, you're one of them. I'm going to just say it. You're definitely only a man who has done the same abusive acts will defend an abuser and then try to silence or be dismissive of, be quick to dismiss what that woman said. Even down in the comments, they were talking about that. Because the first comment I saw, they said, DJ Vlad needs to be looked at seriously. Calling Jaguar Wright a conspiracy theorist, bro, everything she told us is unfolding right in front of our eyes. Always be wary of someone who labels another person as crazy, which is the absolute truth. And everyone saying that something's up with Vlad, you know, he's minimizing this way too much. That was the first thing I picked up on, was he was quick to minimize what she said, even though he admitted to watching the horrific video of Diddy abusing Cassie. So as far as I'm concerned, Vlad, you are just as bad as Diddy.
I'll say, just avoid him, honey.
Hold on, let me go back.
Over 30 years. Beginning. Until.
I'm going to start with you. You've been called a whistleblower. You knew Sean Diddy Combs for a long time. You attended a number of his infamous parties. And in 2022, you made headlines after comments where you called him a sex trafficker. And in response, you were called crazy and jealous. Do you feel vindicated by the events of the last few weeks?
No, not at all. Because he's just the beginning. Until him and his cohorts are all held to account publicly and legally, the victims, they're not safe.
And she's absolutely right. It's not just Diddy. This is my opinion. So I have to say this allegedly. I really believe Jay-Z and Beyonce were most definitely a part of the abuse. I really do. Jennifer Lopez as well. They all carry the same dark entities and dark energies. If anyone's paid attention to Beyonce over the years, when she turns into quote unquote Sasha Fierce, that's a spirit on her. And it's a very dark entity that comes over her. She even talked about it on several interviews over the years. She says, well, there's just something that comes over me, a demon, and I become Sasha Fierce, and her whole face turns dark and demonic and evil as hell. There have even been women who have accused her of being a dark witch and killing their cats and doing dark spells on them. And I want to clear this up too, because quite a few people asked me, what is a high priestess, when I told them that I'm a high priestess. A high priestess is a light worker. Let me be very clear. A light worker high priestess is someone who has been brought to earth to raise the vibration and bring healing to earth. A dark high priestess is someone who uses the dark energy and entities to torture, humiliate, degrade, and hurt and harm other people. I don't do that. Now, what I do know is that as human beings, we are both light and dark. You can call upon high vibrational beings to assist you. And when you are a high vibrational person, you can even call upon demons to assist in attacking those who attack you. But that is as far as it goes when it comes to me. I don't dabble in the dark. I don't I don't sacrifice things and people to dark entities and energies. I will simply call upon angels of light and dark to defend me when people call themselves doing spiritual work against me, like sending evil eye, doing spells, like the dumbasses at Christ Apostolic that prayed death prayers over me and everybody else who've been speaking out about Dwight, which we will cover that on another live. But tonight's live is about Diddy. That's what I'm talking about. A true high priestess is going to bring healing to the earth, not be, a high priestess of Santeria where you are connected to Satan and dark energies. So I wanted to be very clear on that as we're talking about this, because Beyonce has definitely been accused, her and her mom, Miss Knowles, of participating in very dark energy and entities and rituals. Even the Kardashians and Jenners, they have a, what is it called? Wiccan witch, some kind of witch candle, company that you can supposedly light one of their dark candles and prosperity will come to you. It's the same thing with this ritualistic abuse that Jaguar's talking about. And she's going to say that. She's going to say she witnessed a lot of ritualistic abuse. I talked about it on my last live, the satanic ritual abuse. That shit is real, y'all. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy theory. I know it from my experience when I had to clear spirits out of people and do exorcisms and clear energies out of buildings when I was a part of what I now know to be a cult at the time that I thought was a church. There is so much that goes into spiritual warfare. And we live in a spirit world. We just are hidden from behind the veil. But those of us who have certain gifts, we see beyond the veil and we see into the veil. And you can use your gifts for light or dark because we're given free will. And what you choose determines the balances of where your soul goes when you pass. But again, that'll be another live. But I'm just saying, and I know a lot of people are going to get mad at me. I'm going to be honest. I don't like Beyonce. I never have. I have always felt in my spirit that she's a dark witch. That's why she has such a powerful influence over people, where people are, Beyonce fanatics and they just go crazy and, they're crying and passing out. When she does her concerts, I've watched this woman do spell work on the audience. I've watched her do chants and rituals during her performances because I know from a spiritualist standpoint exactly what she's doing. But those who are ignorant have no idea that they are being controlled by a spirit that is on that woman. And you have to remember that Lucifer transformed into an angel of light, an angel of deceptive light, not an angel of high vibrational light, an angel of deceptive light. So Jaguar's not lying when she talks about Jay-Z and Beyonce being just as big as monsters. I absolutely believe her.
How bad was
That's
it?
what I care about. I care about the victims.
No, I understand. How bad was it, do you think? What was going on?
I'm going to tell you right now that me, as a woman who has been in the industry for over 30 years, I've been performing live since I was 13. My first handler was McKinley Horton. I come to find out 25 years later that a scar that was on his face with a very elaborate story he gave me was put there by a woman who he assaulted. To live through these things and hear your elders in the business, people like Patti LaBelle say, just avoid him, honey.
You heard what she said, people like Patti LaBelle, and I love me some Patti, but that changed my whole perspective of her hearing that. Just avoid him? Really? Just avoid him? So that means, Patti, you knew what was going on. Why didn't you help the victims? Why didn't you help the women and the men that were being abused? See, all of this coming out has changed my entire perspective of the industry. And I'm very methodical and very cautious as a Scorpio who I embrace and who I engage with. If I feel a person's high vibrational, I will support them. I'll put them out there if they inspire me. But some of these people who I thought were inspiring and high vibrational people, I'm starting to realize some of these people behind closed doors really are monsters. Because I have been in love with Patti LaBelle. My dad was a musician. That's where I get my love of music from. My dad was a Pisces. Pisces love music, just like Scorpios. And my dad was always listening to music. And Patti LaBelle was one of his favorite artists. So I fell in love with her voice when I was 5. Everybody who knows me knows that Sir Prince Rogers Nelson, aka Prince, is my all-time favorite artist. Prince would even talk about this shit in code when he would do interviews, because he knew he couldn't fully come out as Jaguar Wright is and be a whistleblower. So did Michael Jackson. Prince and Michael Jackson both did interviews in the late 90s and early 2000s, and even the 2010s, where they would low-key expose the industry and the bullshit that goes on. Because when you're in it, your life is in danger if you expose too much. I'm praying for Jaguar's protection for the simple fact that she is exposing everything. I can understand why she doesn't post her location, why she changed her number, because she knows how these people work together to cover up the shit that they've done, not only so people don't lose respect for them, but so that it can continue. And it just broke my heart to hear Patti LaBelle, one of my favorite female artists. I mean, I've always wanted to meet her in person, and just, you know, she just has this mothering spirit. And it's like, you told them to avoid a predator? What the fuck? Like, I can't understand that.
And being taught to be, yeah, just avoid him, honey. It's not good enough. Not when you live through these things. You're still suffering the PTSD created by all of this. And you're talking to a victim that's 20 years younger than you. And she's telling you the exact same thing that happened.
See, that right there, I feel Jaguar as an empath. She's not lying. She's absolutely not lying. Women who have suffered sexual abuse as children, and especially as adults, absolutely have PTSD. Absolutely have PTSD. And it creates a fight or flight energy within you. It creates distrust. You know, you don't know who you can really trust. You don't really trust anyone. You're guarded with everyone. Or you end up trusting the wrong people. You end up attracting abusive people who seem like on the outside they're so good and they're so pure, but then when you really get to know them behind closed doors, that's when you see their dark side. That's when you see their abusive side. And it's something that absolutely needs to be spoken about, especially in our community and in our culture, because in the Black community, it's frowned upon to speak about these things. And that's another way to suppress the abuse so that it can continue. And it's also another way to stop people from healing and coming into their power. So again, shout out to Jaguar for speaking her truth and not being afraid to, because a lot of women are so afraid to come forward for fear of repercussion of additional abuse, or even their lives being threatened, like Claudia Jordan talked about on her live.
So you want to know why there's no vindication for me? Because for 4 years, I've been screaming, not just Diddy, but Diddy and Jay-Z are monsters. And the victim-making machine kept going on.
Jay-Z has been notable by his...
And I liked how she worded that. The victim-making machine. I have heard so many celebrities refer to this machine. I even remember hearing Nene Leakes talk about that on several interviews after she left Real Housewives of Atlanta and then filed her lawsuit for discrimination against Bravo, which I've seen that she's back affiliated with them, which lets me know that she must have got her settlement. We will cover a live about that later. But this machine is nothing more than the powers at B creating this low vibrational environment. And for those who have ever studied anything about heaven and hell, or even just the Bible and Revelations, even in Ephesians 6, it says, for we wrestle not, Ephesians 6 and 10, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against rulers of darkness, spiritual wickedness in high places. This is the perfect example of that scripture. Powers are a level in hell. If anyone's ever read Dante's Inferno, if you've ever watched the screenplay, read the book, or even just saw a snapshot of that, it shows you the 9 levels of hell. Now, when I died, went to heaven, and came back, I told y'all before, I saw the great gulf fixed in heaven where you can look through the gulf and see into hell because it's above this planet. And there's actually more than 9 levels, but powers is one of the higher levels because you have to keep in mind the fallen angels were kicked out of heaven, y'all. So they still have certain angelic abilities. They just fell into extreme darkness. The wrath of God is removing its energy from a deity or a person. It's not brimstone and fire. It's simply the love of God no longer being there. That's why this earth is so low vibrational and so corrupt, because this is the fallen angel's home. And the powers actually travel back and forth to earth. So when you hear people say the powers that be, they're talking about spiritual dark beings. And these spiritual dark beings work through humans who have embraced them, who have worshiped them, and who have sacrificed them. Again, satanic ritual abuse. Sodomy, like I told y'all, that's the true original definition of homosexuality. It has nothing to do with same-sex consensual sex. It's literally anal rape. And the powers get empowered the more, especially children, are sacrificed. That's why it's disgusting that there's a 9-year-old named in this Diddy lawsuit. That's proof of what I've been telling y'all for like the last 3 or 4 years. People called me a conspiracy theorist when I started to expose this about even how rape in the biblical original term, the word lie with, when people use that scripture in Exodus where it says man shall not lay with man as they do with women, and people were thinking, oh, that meant homosexuality. Actually, if you knew the true definition of homosexuality, it's not same-sex consensual relationships. It is sodomy. And sodomy by definition is forced anal rape, non-consensual. And I told y'all my channel is raw and uncensored, so I talk about all this stuff. When you sodomize a person, you shed blood, in those lower vibrational deities, especially the powers, they get empowered. If anyone's ever seen the movie Sausage Party, Sausage Party actually exposed a lot of things in a very humorous way. And they said, we made up the great beyond because the gods kill us. When we go to the great beyond, they kill us. And they said, why would they kill us? They said to give them power, to make them stronger. Anyone who has seen that Bohemian Groove video that circulated on YouTube years ago, where they were sacrificing live human beings to Molech, which is the underworld's god of sacrificing children. It's just disgusting. Like it's like this stuff will be right in your face. And people will still say, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. Oh, it's Photoshop. Oh, it's a fake, it's a fake video, all this other stuff. When in fact, it's absolutely real. So I'm going to show y'all that Bohemian Groove video after this so you can see what I'm talking about. They literally sacrifice children, babies even, to these deities, and then the deities give them power and wealth on earth. It's disgusting.
Silence since these charges were brought against Diddy. Why do you think that is?
Because that's what he does. He starts little fires everywhere, forces everyone involved to go and carry water while he sneaks away without a response. That changes now, Sean. You must respond. You have no choice. Harvey Weinstein, Jeffrey Epstein, Robert Kelly, Sean Combs have one person in common, professionally and privately. Sean Carter.
And she's absolutely telling the truth. Like, in every one of these situations, these cases, they all got Jay-Z in common. Have we seen Jay-Z make one public announcement about the Diddy case? Let's just keep it a stat. Have we seen Jay-Z make one public comment, even about Cassie? Then I think about Ray J, because I saw a video where Ray J was going off on Jaguar Wright for this very interview, saying, why are you supporting white people doing interviews and not us? Ray J, your punk ass was at these parties too. And I don't know if y'all remember, but when Ray J and Safari and A1 from Love and Hip Hop were on Love and Hip Hop and they were doing all this extracurricular activity outside of the show, Princess Love, Ray J's, I don't even know if they're still married because they always getting married and divorced. She exposed how there was a circle where they were doing a circle jerk. And I remember seeing the video on YouTube, so she wasn't lying. I don't know if they took it down, but I remember seeing it because I couldn't believe it. It was Ray J, Safari, and A1, all who are very suspect and to me definitely have given down low vibes for years, that they were jerking off in a circle. Now, what I know about straight Black men, it's in our culture, it is taught to be homophobic. Straight Black men don't want nothing to do with what they call, quote unquote, gay shit. A straight Black man is not going to participate in a circle jerk because he's not going to pull his penis out in front of another man because he feels like even that is gay. Straight men don't even like to look at other men when they're at urinals. So Ray J, it would probably behoove you to shut the fuck up, because I feel like all these celebrities that have not said shit are guilty. Every last one of y'all are guilty. We haven't heard Marlon Wayans say nothing about the freak offs, even though he was named at the parties. We haven't heard Jay-Z say one thing about Diddy, the lawsuit, or even Cassie being abused. We haven't heard Ray J say nothing until now, just so he could try to be relevant. We definitely haven't heard Safari or A1 or any of these other celebrities who have all gone, Leonardo DiCaprio, none of them. Prince Harry, Prince William. We haven't heard any of these people, even Ben Affleck and J-Lo. We have not heard any of these people. Will Smith, all these, and Jada. And they got the Red Talk table. Why the Red Talk table ain't talking about these women and men who have been abused? You know why? Because they participated in this shit. It was alleged that Will even allegedly assaulted Jaden, and that Jada knew about it. So you have to think all these people are in on it. And they're all going to protect one another because they don't want to be exposed. It's not just, oh, I don't want to have an affiliation with Diddy because it might hurt my brand. It's, I don't want them telling on me. And Diddy is going to start snitching, y'all, real soon. He's going to start snitching to try to get out of jail. Look, Diddy, you might as well hang it up. They're not going to let you out. You are going to get convicted because I saw it. There's curses and blessings to being a psychic, medium, clairvoyant, empath. You know and see way too much. Everything that these victims have said about Diddy is the absolute truth. Not one of these people are lying. Not one. They have just been afraid to speak up until now, because now they feel that there is some level of protection because so many others, just like when I was talking about Dwight marrying Jordan and grooming her, and people were getting upset because I was talking about it. I said, just like Diddy, Dwight's been accused of decades for sexually assaulting young girls and boys and adults. His ex-wives they publicly talked about how he abused them. One of his stepdaughters publicly talked about how he sexually assaulted her at the age of 11. And that's the reason those very people who are members of that church, that cult, speak against me and everybody else who has left that church, that cult, who has talked about our experiences with being sexually assaulted by members when we were members. Some of us, even when we were kids. A terrorist, an abuser, does not want to be exposed because they want to be able to continue the abuse. Like she said, these people, these men are abusive. They're machines. This is a machine. This is something that they want to keep happening so they can continue to appease their gods, their lower vibrational deities, and those deities give them power and riches on this earth. But what these very same people forget is that you're going to die at some point. And even if you sell your soul to these low vibrational gods, you will never reach heaven. You will never feel the love of the Most High. And those deities will use you to do their despicable work. And then they will capture your soul, because the devil always comes to collect. And those who make these sacrifices also have to sacrifice at least 5 of their immediate close relatives. The song Illuminate that Kendrick Lamar was featured on years ago, in the lyrics he said, so you can take my, not Kendrick Lamar, the other rapper, I forget his name that was featured on there. He says, so you can take my top 5 list, dead or alive, and put me after M. In certain societies and rituals, you have to give 5 names of your direct relatives. And if you have children, even them, or your mother, someone who is very close to you that you have to hurt or sacrifice. And then you blow up. Kanye allegedly sacrificed his mom and then he blew up. Several artists have chosen immediate relatives that they have sacrificed, and then the deities gave them wealth. But guess what? When you die, that wealth goes nowhere with you. Someone else spends your money. Someone else drives your cars. Someone else lives in your house, your mansion. Someone else wears your clothes. So what is it worth to sell your soul to a power or a principality or a lower vibrational deity for some temporary shit that you can't take with you when you die, but what they will take is your soul when you die? Makes no sense to me.
This has been a fist of tyranny that has been punching through our culture and our society for decades. It must stop.
There's been obviously a lot of
cruelty-free artistry.
Right. There's been a lot of rumor mill about what has happened in the rap world. A lot of allegations that the misogyny in the lyrics clearly was based on a general misogyny towards women away from the music. And that clearly seems to have been borne out by these charges against Diddy, which if he's found guilty of all this, he's never coming out of prison. How dangerous do you think?
Thank God.
How dangerous do you think he is as a person?
I think he's one of the most dangerous people I've ever met. A lot of people have been questioning, well, she doesn't really know him. She has no knowledge of him. She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil.
See what she said? I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Like I said, I don't know how to feel about Claudia now. I'm going to be honest. Because Claudia can deny that she dated Diddy all she wanted. But that picture I showed y'all earlier, I don't care what nobody says. This is my opinion. They looked very intimate for someone who was just taking a photo with the fan. When I met Claudia, I took videos and pictures with her. There was nothing intimate about our videos and pictures. It was me as a fan meeting a celebrity who I'd been watching on TGIF since the pandemic when my uncle died from COVID, and I was going through a hard time being homeless and getting displaced due to losing my job from COVID shutting our restaurant down. Never a photo of intimacy. So, Claudia, you can't really get mad at people for assuming that you dated Diddy when you have had photos out there since 2009 that make it look like y'all were more than friends. And let's say it really was just an innocent picture. There was more than one. There's definitely more than one because I found them online. Because again, I research before I go live. So if you were a fan, I can't understand I took a picture as a fan. You were around the industry just as much as Jaguar because you were a video vixen. And of course, there were rumors that she slept around and she slept with Jay-Z and she did this. Don't nobody know if that's really true. Those are rumors. But a photo that reflects energy of intimacy is not a good look. And I would have thought by now, because so many people have been talking about the photo with Claudia and P. Diddy, that she would have taken that down. Especially after you said he texted you 56 times and threatened you and then asked you what you was wearing. A man as an attractive woman, you have fans. I can understand that. Hell, I got them. But a man's only going to come at you in the manner in which you allow him to, in the manner in which he's comfortable with. Like, for instance, with me, dudes that know I'm celibate don't come at me like that because they already know you're not finna get nothing from me but a brick wall and a hell nah. If you're not a high vibrational king, if you don't carry king energy, I'm not even considering dating you, let alone opening my body up to you. So I'm saying all that to say this. It's not a good look for Claudia to, be saying, I didn't date him when you got more than one photo out there that makes it look like y'all were intimate. That's all I'm saying, Claudia. I don't want you to come for me talking about you suing me. I'm not saying you dated him. I'm saying it looks like you did. I'm just being real. It does.
Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years. He's been covered and protected by not only Clive Davis, but Lucian Grange. He was selected to be the demon that he is to keep the culture in line so the industry could continue to rape it for all of its precious jewels.
I absolutely believe that. I told y'all before that rape, the act of rape, is a demon. It's literally a demon. If anybody can look at that video of Diddy beating Cassie's ass and not see a demonic presence on that man, hell, even the video I just showed y'all with him and his mom, all those pictures of him modeling in red, which I learned in color psychology in college, red is the color of aggression and anger and passion. When you look into Diddy's eyes, he looks demonic. And I can see he has legion on him. Legion is a legion of demons. It's several. That's why he shapeshifts in and out of personalities. It's crazy to me that people can watch that video of Cassie and still defend him.
We have too many lost.
And I want to say this for those who are saying Jaguar writes a conspiracy theorist. How the fuck you gonna say she's a conspiracy theorist when you saw, and we all saw, him beating the fuck out of his alleged girl, his girlfriend at that time? This is somebody you love. When you love somebody, you don't abuse them. You don't beat them to a pulp and pummel them like they're a dog or a piece of shit underneath your foot. You protect that person. You love that person. You empower that person. You don't abuse them. You only abuse them when you're used to seeing abuse and when someone's taught you how to be abusive. And I guarantee you he saw this shit between his mom and dad. Because you have to think about it. We all play out our childhood and our adult relationships until you heal. So you either accept abuse or you become the abuser or both. Watching the video of him kicking Cassie and stomping her and her, I mean, it just, even just talking about it breaks my heart. It makes me want to cry. Because I'm just like, how can you do that to that beautiful woman? And Cassie, I really pray that she finds her healing from all this. Because she's such a beautiful woman. And unfortunately, a lot of beautiful women don't know their worth because of what they saw growing up. So they accept abuse and they stay in abusive relationships because that's what they saw their mom do. And it's heartbreaking.
The list of lost is ridiculous. And everyone knows Diddy was selected for this job. He's the Judas.
Do you think that if he's cornered in the way that he's been now, that he may start revealing things about other people?
He has no choice. His ego and his drug addiction won't allow him to do anything different. Anybody who thinks he's not going to talk is crazy.
And I just said that he's definitely going to talk because he wants to take the heat off himself. Like, if I'm going down, all of y'all are going down. That's why, like I said, you have not heard Jay-Z nor Beyonce make a peep about any of this. The only person who has gone to great lengths to clear their name has been Claudia Jordan. And she's been all over Instagram doing lives talking about it. I jumped into her live a few days ago and she was like, people are saying I'm doing this for an opportunity. For what? Because you don't want to be implicated. You don't want your name showing up on the list of celebrities that went to the parties that may have been involved. You don't want people thinking that you dated a monster, but yet you have yet to clear the internet of the photos. Like, it did suck that Young Miami scrubbed her social media of her involvement with Diddy, but it was smart. Because it's like, oh, hell no, I don't want to go down with him. But baby, it's too late because there's too many women that have come forward and said that you were involved as well, allegedly. So I noticed on Claudia's live when her and Mimi were on there saying, well, you know, in our experience, we didn't experience this. I remember one of my so-called friends who I really honestly don't consider her a friend anymore. She said that to me because she's close with Dwight. When I started talking about what happened to me being raped, and Dwight's father basically silencing me and telling me not to talk about it, not to go public with it. And she was like, well, you know, all these people coming forward talking about they were sexually abused by people at the church or by Dwight's father, by Bishop Reed and these other pastors. Well, you know, that didn't happen to me. Don't give a fuck if it didn't happen to you. Just because it didn't happen to you don't mean it didn't happen to other people. And that's what I didn't like. Because I felt like Claudia's efforts to quote unquote clear her name, it low key, as a woman who's been sexually abused, it made it look like you were minimizing what's happened to Jaguar and other women. And, you know, now she's calling Jaguar a liar and, oh, she's just doing this for clickbait. And I'm like, how can you as a woman say, how can you deny her experience when it happened to you? That's what makes me look at people different. Like I said, I'm a deep thinker. I'm a deep diver. I'm a Scorpio. I'm a silent observer. I watch everything. And as an empath, I pick up on people's energy. And Claudia, you and Mimi's efforts to try to clear y'all's name and act like y'all weren't involved. We all know birds of a feather flock together. You, Mimi. What's the other one's name that can't keep a man? That was part of her clique. off of Love and Hip Hop that dated Jock, that messed her whole face up. I forget her name. But all of y'all were at these parties. And if you left early and you didn't participate, cool. Ain't nobody saying that you had to participate, but the doing the most to clear your name when you put out there content and photos that make it look like you were definitely more than just friends with Diddy. It just, I don't know. It's given fake. I'll say that.
The simple fact that he's not saying more now only means that the people who have been protecting him all along, who put him in position to be such a horror to the Black community, still find value in him.
Exactly.
He's got everybody on tape.
Yep.
They all know it. It's a mess.
For those who were never...
And that's the reason these people ain't talking. That's the reason allegedly Jay-Z and Beyonce and all the rest of these people haven't said shit, because he has dirt on them too. I'm going to tell y'all this. When I first explored the swinging lifestyle 11 years ago, like she said, the main thing that goes on, there's always alcohol and there's different drugs that get passed around, and you can choose to participate or not participate. The most I ever did was XOs. Never did coke in my life, never shot up, no drugs. I've never done that. Definitely, weed, which doesn't make you violent, it just makes you mellow and calm. But there were other things that were being passed around at these parties. And that's just local parties, not even celebrity parties. So you have to think about, then certain people would be recording the activity. And I remember the first time I had engaged in a group session, I was very under the influence, very. And some of it I don't remember, some of it I do. But I remember later being shown videos and I'm like, why would y'all record it? Oh, that's so that nobody can tell. That way everybody involved has something to lose, because there's people that go to these parties, especially the BDSM ones, that are politicians, lawyers, teachers, people that are well known in the community. A lot of them are celebrities and actors and actresses and artists and definitely rappers and shit. And they don't want to be exposed, so everybody's on tape. That way you can't identify or name any specific person that was at the party, because if you do, then they expose you. And then they do exactly what they're doing in Jack Right. They try to make you out to be crazy. They try to make it be dismissive, or they threaten you and try to come for you. So she's absolutely right when she's saying they're not saying nothing because he has them on tape. That's his way of keeping control. And unfortunately, his way of being able to continue to do the bullshit he's been doing.
At these freak-off parties, what were they like?
See, this is the thing. Everything that I'm about to say to you is not my firsthand knowledge. It is my firsthand witness account experience.
And I like how she started with that. This is not no gossip. This is what I witnessed because I was there and I participated.
Sex worker. I was a dominator.
Let me go back.
Hand witness account experience. I was a sex worker. I was a dominatrix before I got my record deal.
So that's what I was talking about before. When people were like, oh, D, you said that you were a dominatrix. I was a dominatrix, but I wasn't getting paid. Looking back, I should have been. I ain't even gonna lie. I should have been. But I was just into kink and, exploring the BDSM world for the first time. And I ain't gonna lie, it was fun. I liked it. Some stuff, though, the other people were doing was a little disturbing. And I had to exit the room because some stuff that people are into, to me, is too much. When it comes, I have certain things I just can't witness, and I'll leave it at that, because some people are into some real nasty shit. Roman showers, golden showers, scat, all that. I can't. I don't want to see it. I don't want to be around it. And certain pain that people liked triggered PTSD within me, which was the opposite objective to going to conquer your traumas. So, yes, I have participated in kink. I've participated in group activities, but I have never, ever, for those who lied and said that bullshit, I have never gotten paid, and I have never sold my ass. So I'm saying that for a reason, because I've heard this too many times. Then I've had people reach out to me directly and ask me. No. When I was exploring, I was literally exploring. And it really didn't even last that long. I don't even think I did all, not even for a year did I explore all that. Because after a while, it was cool, but then I got into real relationships. And matter of fact, I got into a very long relationship with my first real girlfriend, and she wasn't into it. I tried to do a few things with her, a little bondage here and there. She wasn't into kink. So I actually gave all that up for her. But when she's talking about being a sex worker, that means women who actually get paid to inflict pain that's requested, that's consensual. It's not rape. It's not abuse. It's just like there's men that want you to stomp on their nuts, or they want you to put, their penis inside of a cast, or to lock it up. There's women that like nipple torture, and some women like to bleed. See, my kink only goes so far. My pain threshold only goes so far. And when shit goes too far, I exit. Because certain things I can't witness, I can't be a part of. It's just too much. But for her to publicly say she was a sex worker and a dominatrix is courage to her to admit that. Because most women who do that shit hide it. Very much so. That's why they don't have friends and shit, because they don't want people in their business to know what they have going on. Unfortunately, some of y'all that I know in real life, I already know what the shit you're doing. I don't judge you. I don't care. Do you? But as far as D, no. Never got paid. Never sold my ass. Never did that shit. So please stop asking me that. No, I never did that. I just explored a lifestyle of kink, and I'm still into kink. But I'm not into kink like I was 11 years ago. I am literally cleansing and healing myself for my husband and for me to be married. And we will engage in kink once we do. Just saying it. Just putting that out there.
That's how I know how the dark world and the sex world and the entertainment world run hand in hand. That's why the movie Blink Twice is so important. Salute to Zoe Kravitz.
And you know what is so sad about this is I'm watching Jaguar Wright's expressions. I'm seeing her. She is very much still traumatized by all this, because I'm seeing how many times she's almost broken down crying, telling this story. That's why it angered me when Vlad brought his bitch ass on here talking shit about her. Because as a woman who's gone through this, who's experienced this, and who's an empath, I can feel that she's not lying. When you have suffered this type of trauma, it is so not easy to talk about. That's why it's taken me, what is this, 2024? It's taken me almost 16 and 19 years to talk about it, because I just started talking about what happened to me 4 years ago. Because it hurts to relive that trauma. It hurts to tell people about it and to have to feel it all over again. So I send healing to Jaguar right now, and to any woman and man who has gone through this and who has had to carry that trauma in their aura, in their energy, in their chakras for years and decades. And a lot of them still aren't free. They relive that trauma every day. And unfortunately, some people have even unalive themselves because they couldn't deal with the after effects of such trauma. That's why I personally take these types of cases and this type of shit personal, because I know what it feels like to have to go through this as a child and an adult, and have to carry that in your spirit and your energy, and feel like if you do talk about it, a lot of people won't believe you, or they'll be dismissive, like Vlad was right after, Jaguar got done giving her account.
The sex workers that I have worked with throughout the years and continue to work with even to this day have worn hidden cameras. I have my own tapes. I've seen what they do, the ritualistic behaviors, the drugging.
You heard what she said, the ritualistic behaviors. That's why I keep highlighting and talking about satanic ritual abuse, because it's very real. And believe it or not, it is extremely prevalent in these churches, especially the mega churches, especially these fake ass preachers like T.D. Jakes and all these famous gospel people, gospel artists, you would be surprised the gospel artists who have participated willingly in ritualistic satanic ritual abuse. Some of your favorite gospel artists, the most well-known, some of your favorite, most well-known preachers have not only gone to Diddy parties, but they've had their own style of parties where sexual abuse goes on. And not just with women and men, and not just with children, even with animals, y'all. This shit goes so deep, and it's so disturbing and so disgusting. And I don't care who gets mad. I'm going to keep talking about it. I'm going to keep highlighting it, and I'm going to keep putting it out there until it stops and until these people are caught and locked up and held accountable. Because since they chose not to heal and they chose to continue the abuse, they deserve to get what's coming to them, period.
Putting girls in the suitcases, dumping them in alleyways. It's horrifying.
And that is also the darker side of BDSM that has nothing to do with, consensual play. Like there's things in consensual play, like caging. There's people that like to be put in kennels, or they, want to be locked up because their kink is being a masochist. And a masochist is someone who is submissive and likes to receive pain. And a sadomasochist is someone who, gives the pain. But again, it's all consensual. When it is no longer consensual is when it's wrong. When women are held against their will in bedrooms and locked in rooms, as I showed y'all on my last live, where Diddy even said out his own mouth during the Conan O'Brien on show that, you have to lock them in a room or else they'll leave. That's not play. That's not consensual. That's abuse. Putting women in suitcases because they're trying to escape and dumping them in an alleyway after you have gang raped them is not play. It is abuse. It's absolutely abuse. And it needs to be stopped. And everyone involved who has participated and covered it up, I call right now for every one of those people to be exposed and to be prosecuted, and for the victims to be brought to justice.
And it's all done under the protection of, this is going to be paid off. There's another NDA. This is going to be, it's terrible.
It seems to have been something that a lot of people knew about, but people were simply too scared to talk about.
Everyone knows. And every person that's sitting there trying to act surprised knows very well. The whole point of this, like Cat Williams said when he sat with Shay Shay earlier this year, the whole point of this is for them in a coordinated effort to pretend like none of it is real for the public's perception.
I want y'all to pay close attention to what she just said. The whole point is to pretend like none of this is real. That is the reason they've gone on this campaign for the last almost decade to make Jaguar Wright look like a psychopath. They had this woman arrested. They had her locked up in a mental hospital. They provoked her so much right after she suffered trauma of losing her son. And anybody who's lost a child or a parent knows how painful that is. And it puts you in a very vulnerable place. And like I told y'all before, demons exploit our vulnerabilities. Those were demonic forces working through those cops, through those people, through her ex-husband, everyone working together to try to make her look like she's nuts so that everyone would dismiss what she's saying. People have been calling Jaguar Wright a conspiracy theorist for years, and that is the reason I paid even closer attention to her. Because what I know is that the people that they call conspiracy theorists are usually the people that know the truth, and they're the ones that are exposing the bullshit. Just like the people that used to call me a conspiracy theorist when I started exposing all the shit that was going on in these churches. Oh, you're a liar. No, the fuck I'm not. And the fact that she has footage, I hope one day she releases it. I hope one day she produces like a documentary or a movie. And I hope she releases it. Because she's been telling y'all for years this shit was going on. And it took Cassie coming forward before anyone started to even believe her, which is very sad. And that's the whole agenda. Like she said, their whole objective is to make it look like it's not real so that they can continue to hide it and they can continue to do it.
But everyone knows what's going on, and it's been going on for years. It's been going on before Diddy. See, people keep looking at him like he's the Sputnik that came out of nowhere. This is someone who was designed to be what he is. We got to stop making Diddies. And if we're going to do that, then we got to go back. We got to go back to even further, the mentors of these people.
Absolutely. Because the people that mentored him were doing it way before him, conditioned him, and showed him how to do it. That's why I said in my heart, I really believe his mom played a big part in shaping him into who he was. And just like all those, like Bieber's parents, Usher's parents, the people that basically pimped their kids out to Diddy for fame, to get a contract, to get a record deal, to get on the label. Those people were doing it way before Diddy was even born. This has been going on for centuries. Satanic ritual abuse. At the heart of it, that's really all it is, y'all. It really is at the heart of it, satanic ritual abuse. And on my next live, I'm going to go even further and even deeper into that to actually show y'all what I'm talking about.
Because Diddy was taught how to do what he does.
Exactly. He was taught. When I was molested as a child, like I said, I found out later that that girl had been being raped by her multiple foster fathers that she had. She was taught to do the shit to me that she did. You don't just wake up one day and become an abuser. Someone has to teach you that shit. It's a learned behavior.
Systematically, and Clyde Davis has been his greatest teacher.
Look, Clive Davis is not here to respond to that, nor is Jay-Z. But a lot of people.
And I will say this for Piers Morgan. He is being diplomatic. You know, he's basically not jumping into, okay, yeah, you're right. He's doing what he's supposed to do. Well, if those people are not here to defend themselves, I can't really comment on that. But like I said, I do like at the end of the interview at the end of interviewing her, when he said, I do care. And like I said, I felt it in my spirit that he actually does.
Famous people in the music industry have been notable, like I say, by their silence so far. It's also been notable that since the Me Too campaign began in 2017, the music industry has largely avoided the same scrutiny that other industries.
And you got to think about that. The Me Too movement was put together to allegedly allow victims to have a safe space to come forward about sexual abuse. But what you're about to hear about the one who founded the Me Too movement, just like the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, we were all on board until we found out the actual founder behind it had nothing to do with Black Lives Matter, that it was just a money deal. It was a movement put together where they used Black people and, you know, the whole George Floyd situation to generate money. And the founders were using the money inappropriately. And it sucks because the Me Too movement should have been a legitimate movement to actually aid the victims like myself, like Jaguar, like other men and women who have been sexually assaulted. And unfortunately, it was just about money.
I've had.
Which is why they've been silent. Because think about it. If that shit was real, why haven't they been an advocate for any of the victims who have come forward about Diddy?
Why do you think that is?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Since Me Too began in 2017, the music industry has largely avoided the same kind of scrutiny that other industries have had. Why do you think that is?
Well, because the Me Too movement was a ruse. It was a setup. It was a scam. I'm saying that now, publicly. Dream Hampton spearheaded the Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign. And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail.
Did y'all hear what she said? The Me Too movement was funded by Sean Carter, who allegedly participated in this abuse. And I'm about to pull up those receipts. Because it's just, when you think about the mind fuckery, let's act like we're advocates for the very people we have abused. That is what is so fucked up about it. Let's act like we're advocates for a movement knowing damn well we've participated in actually creating the victims. It's disgusting.
Get his lick back. Why is nobody understanding?
So she said, let me rewind that so y'all can hear that again, because you need to hear what she said.
The Surviving R. Kelly campaign, which fueled the Me Too campaign.
And she said Sean Carter did that to make sure that R. Kelly got locked up to get his lick back. Because keep in mind, Aaliyah dated Jay-Z first. Anybody like me who has paid attention to the industry since the 90s, and Aaliyah was one of my all-time favorite artists. We even used to do talent shows to mimic her, to dress like her, sing her songs, you know, all of that. She dated Jay-Z before she dated Dame Dash and before she dated R. Kelly, which is sad because she was most definitely a minor when she was getting passed around all these grown-ass men. And when she married R. Kelly, Jay-Z was very angry. I remember that. I remember that even being out on The Source and, you know, on MTV, they were talking back then about, because everybody was talking about Aaliyah secretly marrying R. Kelly as a minor. She dated Jay-Z first. So Jaguar's not lying, y'all. Like, you have to be a person who was paying attention to the industry in the 90s to actually know what she's saying is real. Jay-Z, I really believe this, and this is my opinion, so I have to say allegedly. I really believe Jay-Z was behind Aaliyah's death. I really do, because they showed footage of Aaliyah being drugged and put on the plane. She never once walked on that plane. And there was audio footage of her telling Dame Dash and the rest of them, that plane doesn't look right. I don't want to get on it. And they fucking drugged that baby and put her on there. So it's like, oh, so you chose him over me? Well, I'm about to take you out and I'm going to have him locked up. Why do you think it took so long for R. Kelly to get locked up if he was doing this shit for decades, just like Diddy? Jay-Z has way more power than Diddy and R. Kelly. Way more power. So I genuinely believe everything that she's saying just based off of what I have witnessed as a viewer. Like I said, Scorpios, we're silent observers. I've been watching this shit for decades, behind the scenes, watching this shit go down. Because even when she died and all the documentaries came out, all the articles came out about the plane and Aaliyah wasn't coherent, and they said in the autopsy, you know, if there was drugs in her system. Well, it's very easy to drug somebody with GHB. I already showed y'all that. It's very easy. Place in alcoholic beverages. Loss of consciousness. She was drugged. Hallucinations, amnesia, coma. Shit is diabolical, man. It's very diabolical. It's very disgusting and very disturbing.
And that was all funded by Sean Carter to make sure that Robert Kelly went to jail.
Payback.
Get his lick back.
Right. Payback.
Why is nobody understanding?
Like, for real,
Dream?
Like, you took my girl, so I'm gonna make sure in your old age, I'm gonna let you live, I'm gonna let you do you, but in your old age, I'm gonna make sure your ass get locked up. And I took the one person from you that I knew you loved the most. Now, in my opinion, it was absolutely inappropriate for Aaliyah to be with R. Kelly. But once she made that decision, and even though she was a minor, you know, in certain states, you can get emancipated at 16. They started dating when she was, I believe, 14 or 15. Same age as one of my nieces that I love so much. And if a grown-ass man approached my niece, I swear to God, I would do everything in my power to make sure your ass is locked up. Because you don't groom a teenage girl and make her think that abuse is love. And Jay-Z, I remember seeing the videos way back in the day of him going off on Dame Dash and R. Kelly about taking his girl. Then goes on to marry Beyonce, who is allegedly a dark witch. And after Aaliyah gets sacrificed, all of a sudden Beyonce blows the fuck up and becomes a solo artist and leaves Destiny Child. You have to start putting the pieces of the puzzle together and see it for what the fuck it is. A lot of these rappers and these artists that y'all think are so, you know, wonderful are dark as fuck behind closed doors.
Hampton was being financed and ran by Sean Carter. They were able to go and get all of these witnesses because he was there with Robert Kelly. How does Jay-Z sit down with Gayle King and she not ask him one question about the intersection between him and Aaliyah and Robert Kelly?
Thank you. I'm so glad she said that. Because I've been saying this shit for years, bruh. How does no one see the connection? Aaliyah dates Jay-Z. She leaves Jay-Z for Dame Dash. She leaves Dame Dash and marries R. Kelly secretly. She married him secretly because she knew what these niggas was like. Like, she knew how they were. And even though Dame Dash publicly pretended to have beef with Jay-Z, Jay-Z has funded all of Dame Dash's music productions and business. He's financed all of it. That's why it makes sense that he used Dame Dash to have Aaliyah put on the plane to do his dirty work. Y'all gotta wake up, bruh. You can't just act blind like, oh, no, not them. Yes, them. Absolutely them. Where these men have money and power, they will use it to get what they want. Especially when they are already serving demonic forces. They don't give a shit about your life. I'll go as far as to say I could even see Jay-Z sacrificing his own wife and kids. He don't care. If y'all remember, Jay-Z publicly celebrated Aleister Crowley. Do y'all know who Aleister Crowley is? Let me show you who Aleister Crowley is, because I know there's people watching this live that don't know who he is. When you see Jay-Z making all these hand symbols, and yeah, let's show you who Aleister Crowley is. Jay-Z pledges not only to Lucifer, but he is a huge follower of Aleister Crowley. In fact, he has a whole entire clothing line with these very symbols on it. And Aleister Crowley, let's go to it. An English occultist, ceremonial magician, poet, philosopher, political theorist, novelist, mountaineer. Aleister Crowley also, Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And I do believe he is also the founder of the Satanic Church. I do believe, the Church of Satan. Yep. Inside Aleister Crowley's Satanic Sicilian Monastery. Look, bruh. Y'all see it right here. Anybody making this shit up? There's the Baphomet. So you have to understand how far these people, these diabolical people, are willing to go to appease their gods. They will go so far to kill any and everyone just so that they can have their power. Oh, let me show y'all this. I found it. See this shit? Do you see this shit? Do what thou wilt. That is literally do what thou wilt. Okay? That's literally the symbolism under, and this is Aleister Crowley here. That's the satanic logo. Do as thou wilt. Yeah, Jay-Z, Aleister Crowley, and Marina Embervik. Matter of fact, the next live, I'm going to go deep into that. Because y'all need to start seeing this shit for what it is and stop turning a blind eye just because it's your favorite rapper who is completely diabolical. Exactly. Literally right in front of their face. Thank you. Right. I ain't gonna lie, when she said the Diddler's downfall, I started busting out laughing when I first saw this interview. Because that's absolutely what it is. And she's right, bruh. Like, they haven't said shit. And if the Me Too movement was real, and y'all heard in the beginning of the live on the video I played, the man said 60 men and women, that 60 men, 60 women have come forward. That's more than enough people for the founders of the Me Too movement to get involved, and they haven't said shit because it's funded by Jay-Z. Yes, they don't make that. She cracks me up. And see, Vlad saying she's a conspiracy theorist, nah. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I've heard about Beyonce and Jay-Z allegedly abusing people together since before I ever even heard of Jaguar Wright. You hear about these things when you research and study the music industry. Because that's why, I ain't gonna lie, that's why it even took me so long to start doing my music. Because I don't ever want to be a part of this bullshit. I just want to make music and sing and write and play, because music is my first love, period. And me having survived cancer twice, them cutting across my vocal cords, retraining my voice to get back strong. But all this nasty shit that these motherfuckers be doing behind closed doors, man, fuck this shit. That's why it's like there's people I support. I definitely support Zaytoven. Shout out to him, his team, for, including me, reaching out to me and wanting to work with me on my music. Shout out to Loud Music and Little Flip and the CEO. Outside of that, I don't fuck with the music industry. I don't. Because of shit like this. Me growing up in church, me growing up in the gospel industry. I heard about this shit in church, y'all. That's why I said this been going on. I had never even heard of Jaguar Wright when I was in church, because I was in my early 20s as a young woman. But I heard about these types of rituals going on even at some of our conventions, like literally our national church conventions. You heard about this type of shit going on at the hotels. And we're talking Kirk Franklin, Hezekiah Walker, people who are well known, especially Kirk Franklin. We heard a whole bunch of shit he allegedly was doing at the hotel with people, men and women and shit. You hear this shit, and it's like one of those don't ask, don't tell, but everybody be talking behind closed doors, but nobody wants to say shit publicly. That's how I even found out about satanic ritual abuse. That's how I even found out about what goes on in the music industry, was from the gospel side of things. So it's all the same. It doesn't matter if it's hip hop. It doesn't matter if it's rap, R&B, gospel. A lot of your favorite artists are predators. And a lot of them have abused adults and children, even some of their own children, y'all. I can remember some of the pastors, even our youth, the diocesan bishop that was over the youth department, he raped his stepdaughter and got her pregnant and made her have an abortion. Just like what they're alleging Young Miami covered up for Diddy, allegedly. This was at our church. So, I mean, you have to imagine everybody ain't damn lying. Hold on. What the hell? You know what? Y'all can get the fuck up out my energy with this bullshit. Because I'm going to still share this and share my story. I'm saying, like, this shit is very real. It is very real. And it's very real in this industry. Doesn't matter, like I said, if it's gospel, hip hop, rap, R&B. This shit goes on because of the people that are involved in it. I got to go back to where I was at. I just saw how hard it was for her to even talk about this. And like I said, I send healing to Jaguar. People can say the only people being dismissive and calling her a conspiracy theorist are the very people that have been involved and did the same shit. That is my opinion. Period. And how Vlad is about to come through, it almost looks like Jaguar's crying. Is she crying? That looks like a tear. For Vlad to come through and completely dismiss what she said, honestly, only revealed his own guilt. That's my opinion. And like I said, I discovered Vlad when because I've loved the Boondocks series since it came out and purchased it and all that. I had never even heard of Vlad TV until the episode of, what was it? Gangstalicious. It was basically the episode where Gangstalicious was going back and forth with the character that essentially was playing Soulja Boy on Boondocks. And they basically did an animated version of real life because Vlad has capitalized off of the Black community by having Black rappers all on his platform and allowing them to come and you know, have beefs with each other and argue with each other. He's just a white guy that has capitalized off of our people, off of our men and Black men in this industry. And so when they were saying Vlad, I'm like, who the hell is that? So like I went to Google or went to YouTube and looked him up to see, was this real, what I'm seeing on this animated episode? And sure enough, I'm seeing Vlad TV, and all he does is interview Black rappers and artists, and he encourages them having beefs and fighting with each other. Like I told you before, the Willie Lynch mentality. You know, Willie Lynch was a white slave owner that capitalized off of the Black slaves fighting one another. That's where we even get the terminology light skin and dark skin, because the slaves that were in the field, of course, were darker skinned because they were out in the sun in the field. And the slaves that were in the house were of a lighter complexion because they weren't out in the sun as much. So you have to think about these descendants. In my opinion, Vlad is a descendant of a slave master. You have all these niggas on your platform who all they do is fight with each other all the time. It's beef all the time. And you interview men who have Black men who have problems with other Black men, you know, hip hop artists and rappers who have problems with one another. I've never trusted Vlad, ever. And I would watch his content to pay attention, but I never subscribed to him. And when I saw that sometimes YouTube be automatically subscribing you to shit when you watch so many videos, and I remember unsubscribing because I'm not going to support that. I'm not going to support you exploiting our community for profitable gain. You don't care about us. You don't care about Black people. You care about exploiting Black people so you can get clicks and views and Google checks. So I want y'all to pay close attention to how quick and how many times Vlad is about to completely dismiss everything that Jaguar just said. And it is my opinion that he's absolutely just as big of a monster as Diddy. And again, I want to say shout out to Piers Morgan for having Jaguar Wright on his platform, because since so many people have, you know, tried to dismiss her, make her out to be crazy, say she's a conspiracy theorist, she's a liar, everything Jaguar has been telling us for the past, I would even say the past 4 to 5 years, we are seeing it play out in real fucking time right now. We're literally seeing, so all y'all that was calling her conspiracy theorist and liar, everything she has said has manifested. I'm just saying. And right when he said that, I do care. I felt it. He's serious. And y'all are about to see how he's going to respond to Vlad. And then you're going to see how the attorney addressed Vlad. Because, like I said, even in the comments, people are like, why is he so quick to dismiss what he's saying. And even right here, they said, dude, as far as I knew, Vlad has been considered a culture vulture of Black artists, exploiting them for money. He has. That's why I don't like him. I've never liked him. And quiet as it's kept, he's a 33rd degree Mason from what I've been told. I mean, literally the first thing out of his mouth is she's a conspiracy theorist. The same bullshit all the other motherfuckers said about her who did not want her exposing shit. You didn't take into account, Vlad, all the women who have publicly come forward about Diddy. You didn't consider the video of Cassie that we all saw, yourself included, where he beat her ass. Not only does he minimize Jaguar, he minimizes what P. Diddy did. That's why it's my opinion that he's just as big of a monster as him. The other thing one of the commenters said that I even picked up on, Vlad is shifty-eyed the whole time he's being interviewed. And it looks like he's just sitting in a room in his house. Like this is no big deal to him. Whereas Jaguar looked straight in the eye, straight in the camera. That's how you know the difference between somebody who's telling the truth and someone who's a liar. Of course not. See how he just talked shit about her? She hasn't had an album in 20 years. What the fuck does that have to do with her giving an account of sexual abuse? Like, his media training has made him into a complete asshole. Because he's been trained to be dismissive. First thing you do is call her conspiracy theorist. Then you put her down. Then you talk about how she's irrelevant and she hasn't had a hit record in 20 years, but she was active in the industry and she was active. Because I remember hearing Jaguar Wright sing back in the day. And she just publicly said what her role was at the Diddy parties. And we all saw on the first video that Diddy has been doing this shit since 91. And Vlad, what the fuck have you done? Mr. DJ Vlad, I've never seen you DJ shit, ever. I only know you to be a podcast host on YouTube. I've never heard him DJ a song. I've never heard him DJ a party. So it's like we could dismiss you just as much as you dismissing her. You're irrelevant. In the Black community, the only thing that makes him relevant is his YouTube channel. If Vlad did not have a YouTube channel, no one in the Black community would know who the fuck he is, and he would have zero relevance. He has capitalized off of our race, off of our culture, and he doesn't even like us for real. And he won't even look directly in the camera because he's a fucking liar. He's full of shit. Yeah, stuff she's heard, things she's making up when she just said she has her own footage. That's why I feel like he's completely full of shit, because he is. And what's crazy is he didn't lead with that. He didn't lead with, okay, yeah, Diddy might have done XYZ. He led with completely and immediately dismissing her and putting her down. He's a piece of shit. He's a narcissist. And I can't wait for his ass to get exposed too. See, like I said, his media training has been horrible. Law enforcement's reactionary. He is completely invalidating every single person's experience who has come forward, including the 60 men and the 60 women by saying that bullshit. See how he's so casually. Yeah, in Diddy's case, it was after a huge lawsuit. So, you know, it's a money grab. But yet we all saw him beat that woman's ass. And you never see Vlad look directly into the camera. Not once. And I also want to point this out, how he said R. Kelly and Harvey Weinstein. These are all the men Jaguar just talked about who are all in this shit together, who are all funded by Jay-Z. So I hate to say it, but I'm going to say it. DJ Vlad, you're completely full of shit and you're definitely a part of this shit. You just proved Jaguar right by saying that. He literally listed the very same men that she talked about, but yet he says, well, she's just saying shit she heard. Motherfucker, you saying shit you heard. You get paid for that. You literally get paid on YouTube to talk about shit you've heard. We have not seen him present zero receipts, zero evidence. That's why when I do my videos, I show y'all the websites and you know where I get the info from, so you can go look that shit up yourself if you don't believe me. He is literally what he's doing what he accused Jaguar of doing. Oh, she just saying shit she heard, but you just named the very people she pointed out that Jay-Z has financially supported and who have all been in the shit together. He's completely full of shit. So the Cassie video is not evidence. Fuck you. You're full of shit. You heard what he just said. If I got an invite, I would go. And just because you don't hear of it doesn't mean it didn't happen. That's the whole point Jaguar was making. They go to great lengths so that you don't fucking hear about it, you dumbass. I am so glad Piers Morgan said that. Because he said, I met him and he was very charming, but there's a lot of people that were charming that turned out to be monsters. That is exactly my point. That is literally my whole point in showing this video. Because if Piers Morgan can see that shit and this dumbass motherfucker can't, it's because you're just like him. And literally, like I said, some of the very well-known gospel singers that I grew up, looking up to and admiring turned out to be fucking monsters and pedophiles and all this disgusting ass shit and rapists and abusers. Just because a person's charming doesn't mean that they don't have a fucking dark side to them. That's why even people I meet, I'm like, they might seem high vibrational, and then you get to know them and see another side of them. Like, no, they got that bullshit too. Because again, we're all beings of light and dark. I love how Piers Morgan spoke his truth in a very professional and diplomatic way. He didn't take sides, not with Vlad and not with Jaguar, but he did say his truth. Like, I met him and he seemed charming, but charming motherfuckers can be monsters too. A shout out to Piers Morgan, like, for real. Shout out to him for this. Literally. And see, that's what I've been saying this whole time. If he did that shit to Cassie in a hotel, imagine how inebriated Diddy had to be. Because everybody knows that in the hallways of hotels, they have security cameras. Doesn't matter. It could be the nicest hotel. They have security cameras everywhere because they're monitoring to make sure nothing happens. So imagine how fucked up Diddy had to be on probably everything he was on to chase that girl out of the room. Like, he literally chased after her as she was trying to clearly escape from him, and he was in a bath towel. What that whole scene gave was he had probably just got done sexually assaulting her and took a shower. That's what it felt like. And more than likely, while he was in the shower, she decided to escape, and he heard her and ran after her and beat her in the hallway. Like, nigga didn't even put on no clothes. Like, you got to really mentally, psychologically think about this shit. He didn't even stop to put on clothes, y'all. He ran out in a bath towel. That means he was naked as she was trying to escape, and literally tried to beat her into submission to stay. And we all saw her pee on herself because she was terrified. Any human being with any sort of consciousness, any sort of conscious period, cannot look at that video and have this dead ass, I don't give a fuck energy unless they are just like him. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. That is my opinion. Vlad is a complete piece of shit, and I guarantee you he has done this shit to women. And he, see how quick he said, yeah, that tape was horrific, like no big deal. Yeah, that tape was horrific, but I'm gonna keep talking about, like, come on, man. Come on, bruh. His whole energy is dismissive, not just about Jaguar, about Diddy, period, because I guarantee you he participated in this shit. You got to think about how demonic a person is to go to great lengths to have a scene of them depicted as Jesus taken out of a video. And if you don't take it out, we're going to beat your ass. This is a perfect example of what I was talking about earlier when I said this satanic ritual abuse shit is so fucking real. Only a person who pledges to Lucifer and is in agreement with Satanist behavior would go to great lengths to say, take that part of the video out. I don't want to be depicted. I don't want to be depicted as anything like Jesus. That's crazy. And it's very fucking demonic. Has happened around him. I had to think about that too. I think there's a lot of violence that's happened around him. No, motherfucker, there's a lot of violence that he has done himself. It kills me how much Vlad is defending Diddy. Happens around him. He won't even admit that Diddy is abusive. I feel like Diddy has something on Vlad. I feel like there's videos of Vlad engaging more than likely in some homoerotic activity and more than likely engaging in abusive activity, because I have never in my life seen any man who has any sort of a conscience towards protecting women defend a person like Diddy. I've never researched Vlad. I don't know if he's married. I don't know if he has children, but I'm thinking if he's ever been married or had a girlfriend or has daughters, how can you so strongly defend this man when there is evidence of what he's done? And just because this shit's going to trial and what the victims have alleged still has to be proven doesn't mean it didn't happen. I highly doubt that there's thousands of people lying on this one person. I just do. You didn't hear him deny it. That's number one. You definitely didn't hear him deny it. His response was, it's hard to say. That's neither a yes or a no. I just realized Vlad really dances around questions like this. He won't look directly in the camera and he doesn't directly answer questions. He has been trained in the worst way to how to answer things in a very dismissive and avoidance manner. Let me answer that for you, especially according to the BDSM world, that's very gay. That's why men who I have even witnessed during play parties who are cuckolds do not want their identity publicly put out there. Because again, a true straight man, a true heterosexual man has no desire to watch another woman get dicked down. In fact, that usually bothers their ego. They don't want, especially a woman that they love, they don't want to see another man dicking down their girl. But a man who's bisexual does. A man who's down low does. Just like a man who's down low demands that orders, male prostitutes and demands that the female stroke his dick with white nails, same as his mother's white nails. Come on, man. Just stop with the bullshit. Pretty sure you're into that, given the laughter that just came with that commentary. See, you just heard him dance around that, but kind of co-sign that Diddy's gay. Well, I don't think he's exclusively gay, but not one time did he say, I don't think Diddy is gay. Oh my God. Not one time. Think about it, y'all. Not one time has he said, no, I don't think Diddy is gay. His initial response was, well, you know, bruh. Oh my God. Vlad's a fucking idiot. Nah, them no Diddy jokes ain't finna go nowhere for decades. Vlad low-key just, honestly, he low-key, he low-key just exposed Diddy for real. He really did, y'all. He really did. Yes, you do. He always responds with, it's hard to say. It's never a yes or no. That's what I was saying earlier in the live. It really bothered me when he said, I was shocked that he didn't get a bond, like he really believes that he deserves to be free and out on the streets to continue doing the bullshit he's been accused of. Yeah, I thought for sure he'd be sitting in his mansion and waiting for trial. He's a piece of shit. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Vlad is a complete piece of shit. I will never watch any other. I don't care who he interviews. I will never give his channel another view in my life after seeing this shit. He deserves to be in a jail cell, you fucking idiot. Sir, dumbass. The attorney just said 25 of those people were minors that have come forward. So that's not a fucking splatter. This right here is a perfect example of a person who is just as guilty as the accused, who is going to be as dismissive as possible because one, he's afraid of Diddy. 2, Diddy has shit on him. 3, he's on Diddy's payroll. 4, he's participated in the shit with Diddy and probably even on his own. I would go as far as to say if any woman who has dated Vlad were to come out later with the same accusations against him that are going against Diddy, I would not be surprised. Given his energy, and again, I'm an empath, clairvoyant, psychic medium. Given this man's energy, I can feel it. That's why he's shifty-eyed. That's why he's pacing back and forth. Not to mention he's clearly inebriated. He's clearly under the influence of some shit because he can't be still. But the dismissiveness of this whole interview, not just Jaguar. Every question that Piers is giving him is he's talking around the answers. He's dancing around the questions and he's being dismissive and very nonchalant. And anyone with a fucking soul and a conscience would not be acting like that. The Bible says in the last days, perilous times shall come. It talks about their conscience shall be seared with a hot iron. Clearly, this man has no conscience. Clearly, even if a person has not been abused and has watched the Diddy and Cassie video, like Pierce said, it was horrific. And you have to wonder, my God, he did that in public. He's done so much worse behind closed doors. And I guarantee you Vlad has witnessed it and possibly even participated in it. Most of the women were not of fucking legal age. Most of the women were fucking minors, you dumbass. They were girls. It's absolutely going to be more severe because there's more levels of abuse. See, R. Kelly, his case was more based on engaging in sexual activity with minors. There's no video circulating on the internet of R. Kelly beating the fuck out of Aaliyah. There's no videos that we've seen, at least, of R. Kelly beating the fuck out of any of the women. We've seen him do, golden showers and nasty shit, which all of that shit was inappropriate. All of it. But it's just the length he's going to low-key defend Diddy. Yeah, he wants to get out so he can keep doing the bullshit and continue to condition his sons the same way his mother allegedly conditioned him. I love how she has that resting bitch face because I can feel it right now, the empath. She is pissed about this shit Vlad just said. And I love how her response was still professional, but still low-key roasting his ass. I absolutely love that. As a woman, as a Black woman, her supporting Jaguar, make sure you have legal representation and help so that they don't try to come for you speaking your truth. I love that. say that shit, because he definitely is and has always been. Because people have always said for years that Vlad is a snitch. That he even allegedly, supposedly is a member of the Illuminati, a plant put in place to interview Black men and get them to talk on his show. And then next thing you know, they get locked up, just like on Boondocks when he interviewed Gangstalicious. And then next thing you know, Gangstalicious gets jumped and gets shot at and then gets locked up. And that was a comedy satire. Like, they've been kind of exposing Vlad for years, and these stupid ass niggas still go on his channel for clout and for views, tell on themselves, and next you know they get locked up. Like she said, he's a culture vulture. He uses our culture to capitalize and then snitches to the police because they've been calling Vlad the police for the last like 3 to 4 years. I've been hearing that shit circulating in the YouTube streets and on social media. Like, any motherfucker that goes on his channel either gets shot at or gets locked up. It's the truth. And it absolutely was. It absolutely was. And that's why I'm glad she used her time and her platform to speak out. She didn't go off on him, but she kept it 100. Like, bruh, you use our community to capitalize, but yet you completely, immediately minimalized what Jaguar said. He has every right to disagree. That's the whole point in this country. We all have freedom of speech and all of that. He doesn't have to agree with her. If he feels like she's a liar, that's his right to feel that way. But to go so far to minimalize and disregard what she's saying really only makes him look guilty. And that's my opinion. You heard what she said. More of a household name than Mr. Combs. I'm going to tell y'all the truth. It's my opinion that the person in the tape is Jay-Z. That's just my opinion as an empath who's feeling what she's not saying. I guarantee you when this shit hits the fan, that household name she is not saying, I guarantee you it's going to end up being Jay-Z. Exactly. The more this goes on, the higher the prosecution of this case, especially once it's at a federal level, you know how many more civil lawsuits are going to come forward? Because essentially he's incriminating himself by claiming that he didn't do it and going to trial, because now you're forcing the law to do its job, which is to uncover the truth and to prosecute you. So the more evidence that's being provided, he's making the jobs of the attorneys that much easier. And he's making it that much easier for more people who have been afraid to no longer be afraid to come forward. And I'm going to say this for those that have been saying, oh, this is a payday. They deserve to get paid for their pain. Let me say that again. Every victim deserves to get paid for their pain, because that money will never take away the trauma. They will live with it for the rest of their lives. So I'm really tired of hearing these disgusting ass men say, like Vlad, oh, it's a payday and people are just looking for a quick buck. Motherfucker, had you not did this shit, this wouldn't even be something being litigated right now. Had you not did this shit, there would be no sort of victims to come forward to seek compensation for the shit that they will never get back, which is their fucking innocence. It triggers me because when the shit happened to me, I didn't press charges because at the time, I didn't love myself. Two, I was under the influence of that fucking cult and the leader telling me, don't go to the police. We don't want a scandal with the church. Let me counsel with y'all. Do you know how traumatizing that is for someone to want you to be silent about what happened to you? And you got to live with that shit for the rest of your fucking life? And people acting like they shouldn't want to be compensated. That money will never take away their pain, but it might give them some sort of semblance of justice. At the end of the day, that's all it's about, is justice. It's not about the money. He needs to be held accountable. He needs to do something in sort of restitution to, it's more than saying I'm sorry. I'm sorry don't mean shit after you've done the abuse. It does not mean anything. And she's absolutely right, because when Diddy's attorney went public, trying to minimalize the 1,000 bottles of quote unquote baby oil that has been investigated, that it is not baby oil, it in fact was definitely lube, and that it was allegedly laced with GHB, a lot of people, especially on social media, went in on the attorney. I mean, I've seen it in the YouTube streets. I've seen it on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. I don't do Twitter because I hate Twitter and how Elon Musk changed all of that. But even some of the Twitter stuff that made it to the other social media platforms, a lot of people are pissed off at Diddy's attorney for how he is not only defending him, but trying to minimalize, the evidence that has been found and that's being investigated. I ain't gonna lie, this sister right here, I got mad respect for it. She said, well, I don't even want to acknowledge Vlad. Yo, when I first watched this, the full interview, I started laughing my ass off. I said, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. She's like, well, I don't even want to acknowledge Vlad because anybody who has common sense, all jokes aside, can see that he's a piece of shit. Like, how the fuck you defending Diddy and minimalizing everything that everybody's saying and acting like everybody's a liar? Mad respect to her, for real. Literally, that's who the fuck Diddy is. And that's exactly what Jaguar Wright has been saying for years. And what's crazy is I saw an article yesterday. I'll have to find it. Let me see if I can find it now, because when I was researching, I saw it where P. Diddy took a plea deal. Let me see if I can find it right quick. Because initially he was saying, P. Diddy won't accept plea deal as he believes he's innocent. Let me share this right quick. Because, I saw this yesterday. Initially, his lawyers was telling him to take a plea deal. And then he was like, no, because that'll make me look guilty. Well, I mean, you are, in my opinion. Yeah. P. lawyer make a huge statement amid bombshell plea deal update addressing distressing Cassie video. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs' legal representative has spoken out regarding the hip-hop mogul's decision to reject a plea deal after being indicted on sex trafficking charges. So, I mean, essentially, she's right. And let me go back so y'all can listen to the last of this video, then I'm going to end this live. So like I said, shout out to Piers Morgan. Shout out to Jaguar Wright. Shout out to the attorney. I'll have to get her name and put it down in the comments. But just shout out to everyone who, you know, wants to see the victims receive their justice. Shout out to everybody who is speaking against it, because at the end of the day, it shouldn't have happened. You know, one of the things my second mom told me when I first started speaking out of my truth about what happened to me, and, you know, my relatives basically not talking to me, not fucking with me, which is fine. I love y'all, but I really don't give a shit. Because I'm going to speak my truth regardless. She said, if people don't want to be exposed, they shouldn't have did the bullshit in the first place. Now, she doesn't cuss. That's me putting words in her mouth. But she just was like, if people don't want to be exposed, they shouldn't be doing things to get exposed. Because she was sexually assaulted as a child as well. So she's very proud of me for me speaking my truth. And she said, and I see healing in that. Every woman and man who's coming forward with their truth about what Diddy did to them, that is a form of healing. Everybody's not out about money. And all he can do is financially compensate them, because he can't go back and undo what he did to them. Once you sexually assault a person, they live with that trauma for the rest of their lives, and they have to then seek their own healing in order for that to not consume them. So, like I said, shout out to Jaguar Wright, shout out to Piers Morgan, shout out to everyone speaking their truth. Like I said, everything I'm saying on my lives is my opinion outside of the proof that I've shown y'all. I will go deeper into the foundation of this ritualistic abuse during my next live. The satanic ritual abuse. I'm going to expound more upon the things that Jaguar talked about and things that I've witnessed in my own experience. Like I said, I witnessed this shit in the church, literally in the church, in the gospel industry, because the churches that I was raised up in, they're very political. Everything is about, you know, your title, your position, what they call you, you know, your committee, what committee you run, you know, if you're honored as a pastor's wife, an evangelist, a bishop, whatever. It's political. The apostolic churches I grew up in are very political. And in that church politics is a lot of shit being covered up, even in my own family. Shit being covered up. I mean, shit was hidden from me that was going on in our household until just a few years ago. And parents be knowing the shit has happened and did nothing about it. And then are mad at you for speaking your truth. Family turns on you because, oh, you're exposing the family. Shit shouldn't happen. A daughter should never be raped by her biological father and tell her mother, and her mother does not believe her. And then the same daughter has to go to court and testify against her biological father when the biological father has been found by the city. The same thing with Diddy. Her biological father was accused of sexually assaulting her and all of his children. Then come to find out he sexually assaulted every one of his foster children. And there were 23 kids that came forward after just one came forward, and he is now serving the rest of his life in prison. That shouldn't happen. So to be mad at your children for speaking their truth when you did nothing to protect them from the very same predators that you laid down and had sex with, may God have mercy on your soul. And I send healing to my sibling that happened to. It angered me. How could you know all these years that this happened to her and did nothing and instead accused her of lying? You know how many mothers have done that to their kids? Then you excommunicate the child that speaks their truth. You ignore them. You're abusive to them. You talk shit about them. And you wonder why the child doesn't come around you anymore, why the child doesn't come around the family anymore. If I ever hear of anyone inappropriately touching any of my nieces or nephews, you better believe I'm going to seek justice on that ass. I'm going to make sure you're held accountable. I would never, ever deny a child's experience because I don't want to be exposed. This has gone on in our community for far too long. And I don't care who's mad at me for speaking my truth. I'm going to keep speaking it until this shit stops. Until every predator and abuser has been locked up. I don't care if it's abusers in my own family, because I've heard some shit about my other siblings from their own kids. And if the shit they said is true, I hope your ass get locked up too. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if we grew up in the same household, because in my mind, how the fuck you did that shit? And above all, who showed you that shit? See, Diddy's inappropriate relationship with his mother is why he is the way he is. And it made me wonder, wow, do I even know my family? And how could I come from this bullshit? Former stepdad fucking teenage girls and shit while married to my mom. On the run from the police with the side bitch he cheated on my mom with. Finding all this shit out in my early 20s after I done left home. Every time I go visit my mom, the police telling us and following us. But y'all mad at me for speaking my truth, trying to help people heal. That's fucked up. And I don't hate my former stepdad. I forgave him years ago, but I'll never fuck with him ever again in life. Whatever you get, you deserve. Because there's something wrong with you where you raped your own brother and bullied him his whole entire life. And we didn't know this shit when he was married to my mom. I lived with a predator and didn't even know it, y'all. Do you understand what I'm saying? This man helped to raise us. A whole pedophile and a rapist. Thank God he never touched me. I think he knew I wasn't the one. Like, I'm going to tell you do anything fucked up, I'm telling. He knew not to try me. And the last time I seen him, when I told him what happened to me as a child, why I decided to start dating women, he said, I had no idea. I said, a lot of y'all didn't. Because I was too ashamed and afraid to talk about it. That's why shit like this, I very much so take personal, because I've been in the same shoes as these very victims who are finally getting justice. The only justice I will ever have is my platform. Me speaking my truth, me putting it out there. In hopes that other people who have confided in me about their abuse will have the courage to come forward and get their healing and seek their justice. I don't hate my mother. I don't hate my former stepdad. I don't hate my family. I hate the shit y'all have done and covered up and mad at me for speaking my truth about it. Same way Vlad was covering for Diddy in this whole interview, dismissive of Jaguar Wright, dismissive of Cassie. It's motherfuckers like that that is the reason why this shit has gone on as long as it has. And for damn sure, it should never happen in a church, at a church, by church members, by church leaders, by pastors, by bishops, by evangelists, because women doing this shit too. It ain't just men. Like I told y'all before, the man that raped me was raped by women at our church. Molested by his sister, who was raped by their father. This shit goes on way too much because people sweep it under the fucking rug. And they cover for each other because, well, we don't want to get exposed. I'll never forget that shit when Bishop Jeremiah Reed told me that. Daughter, we don't want a scandal with the church. Don't go to the police. I believe you, but just let me counsel with y'all. And I'm having flashbacks and PTSD in church and breaking down and people calling me crazy, not knowing I was just fucking raped by the man I was engaged to marry. That's why I'm not married to this day. Because I am still healing from all of that shit. When it is time for me to get married, my husband will be a high vibrational divine masculine. He will not be like my former stepdad. He will not be abusive like my biological father was to my mother. He will be a godly man, a spiritual man. You have got to heal this shit in order to stop it from passing down to the next generation. You have got to heal it. And unfortunately for Diddy, his sons have already followed in his abusive footsteps, according to the women who have accused his sons of sexual abuse. And like I showed y'all that clip from Love Jones talking about, and she's kicking it, and you can see his sons in the little van or whatever, the Sprinter, driving these women around that don't even know where they are, don't know where they're going, inebriated, fucked up, can't remember shit because they more than likely put GHB in their fucking drinks. And she said it. She said, they gave me a drink, and next thing I know, I don't hardly remember shit. I've been date raped before. I've been raped more than once as an adult female. And I was date raped going back in my memory. I was date raped after I was raped by my ex-fiance. Because I was green at that time. I was living in Kansas City. I didn't know about date rape drugs. I didn't know about any of that shit. So I know from experience how it feels to be the victim. And I send healing to every single person, especially Jaguar, especially Cassie. These women who have been violated and made to be silent about it, I know exactly what that feels like. And it's horrible. And if it wasn't for me seeking counseling and working with my life coach and joining support groups with other women who had been through this, I wouldn't even be healed enough to talk about it today. So I cannot wait. I cannot fucking wait for Diddy to be getting his justice. I cannot wait for all the other predators to be brought to justice. I can't wait. That is validation enough for me to see those people get their justice and these predators to be locked up, and even their future generations, you know, their kids who have followed in those footsteps. I think about Blue Ivy Carter. Poor baby. Your daddy's a predator and your mom's a predator and a dark witch. Poor baby. I pray to God that she never has to suffer at the hands of the victims that her parents have done. Beautiful young girl. I think about these people's kids, Diddy's daughters, the twins, the girls. I couldn't imagine having to walk around with him as a father right now. And it makes me wonder, after finding out what happened to one of my siblings, her biological father raping and molesting her, has he done it to his daughters? Has he done it to his sons? How did the oldest son know how to sexually assault a woman unless he was shown? Just like they allege that Diddy was shown by his mom. And one thing about it, when I seen them white nails on his mom, I said, oh yeah, it was her. Because Cassie detailed that in her case. We all saw it. She went into detail about how he made every woman paint their nails white. And y'all saw that at the beginning of this live when I showed you the mother. You can look it up yourself. You can look up the video yourself. Mama got white nails. So again, who did he learn it from? Guarantee you it was her. Some of these moms be loving the baby daddy so much that when the baby daddy don't want him no more, well, my son looked just like him. The next thing you know, you making your son do inappropriate shit to you in remembrance of their father. It's disgusting. It's definitely a sickness. But again, as adults, it's your responsibility to heal yourself, not to continue the cycle of abuse and say, well, it happened to me. Who gives a fuck? Go heal that shit. Go fucking heal that shit. Because if not, your child is going to continue it. And that's a generational curse. It'll continue and continue and continue until someone like me stops the generational curse and breaks it by speaking out against it. So like I said, I love my relatives, but I really don't give a fuck if y'all don't talk to me, because honestly, like I told somebody that I've been talking to, if I ever get married, I'm probably not going to bring you around my family. And when I have my children, I've had 5 miscarriages from Graves' disease, which is an autoimmune disease that causes my thyroid to be hyperactive. Hyperthyroidism. 2-time thyroid cancer survivor. I've seen my daughter and my son. When my children are born, I'm going to be so protective of them. I'm not bringing them around nobody who carries that energy or even looks at my child in any way that's inappropriate, because I'm going to protect my babies. Ain't going to be no, oh, that's the relative, because relatives raped me. Relatives molested me. It be your own people. I keep telling y'all, man, be careful who you got your kids around, bruh. Don't be leaving your kids with Uncle so-and-so and Auntie so-and-so. You don't know what them motherfuckers have went through in their childhood that they haven't healed. And then me finding all this shit out in my own family, I was like, oh, hell no. Nope. Ain't finna be no spending the night. Ain't finna be none of that shit. You want to see my kids, you going to see my kids in my presence. I will never leave my child with anybody in my family. I'm dead ass for real. I know you ain't gonna babysit none of that shit. Nope. Cause ain't no fucking way. This shit, Diddy been doing this shit since 91, and that's what we know of. Next live, I'm gonna cover the video with him and his mom. I'm gonna go more into depth of that. And we're going to go into depth about Jay-Z and Beyonce. The shit I've seen and have researched about them for years. I showed y'all just a snippet of the Aleister Crowley energy and association. And Jay-Z absolutely has a brand with that whole logo, do as thou wilt. And for Aleister Crowley to be the founder of these cults and, you know, the whole satanic church and shit, then you heard even Vlad talk about how Diddy didn't want to be depicted as Jesus, which we're going to cover that later, because Jesus is the Antichrist. Yeshua is the true Christ. Regardless, it's just the fact that he doesn't want to be, he does not want anything that is like Christ to be associated with him. Oh, that's crazy. Let me show y'all this right quick. And then I am going to jump off this live. It's almost 2:00 and I got to get up early. Okay. I'm about to show y'all this Jay-Z shit. Okay. Remember, I showed y'all earlier about the Aleister Crowley stuff, right? This is, what's the date on this? Okay, 2009. The Blueprint 3 and the Lost Symbol, ironically. Yeah. Well, that's Dan Brown's book. There was this video, an interview with a guy, Raz Horowitz, pointed to Jay-Z's use of the phrase peace God as an allusion to the 5 percenters. Anyone who has done their research knows about the 5 percenters and the 3.5 percenters, known as the nations of gods and earth, that the original black man is God and that all men potentially God. Peace God is a typical 5 percenter greeting. Then it goes on to say, but Jay-Z's connection to the occult may extend a bit further. In the making a video for Run This Town, he's pictured wearing a sweatshirt with the phrase, do what thou wilt. Yes, that has very deep roots in modern occult culture. Now, I want to point out that occult means hidden knowledge, so it's not always evil. You can obtain high vibrational occultic knowledge to understand the spiritual realm, or you can obtain lower vibrational occultic knowledge to understand the dark realms. It says the full expression is do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. That was one of the key maxims of the British occultist Aleister Crowley. So when Jay-Z appears in a hoodie with that phrase on it in public, that's exactly what he's referencing. Check this out. Video's private now. And I remember seeing this video back then. And when I was talking about this shit in 2012, they've made the video private. That should tell you everything you need to know. Like dead ass for real. That should tell you everything you need to know. But here's the thing about it. I'm going to show this and I'm going to jump off. Now, they might have made the video private, but bruh, do what thou wilt. This is literally a clothing line. And I even have old pictures that I saved from 2012 and 2013 of his clothing line. Wait, is this not in English? Hold up. No, I don't want that. I want to translate it. Yes, there we go. And you see it's Jay-Z and Beyonce. Then we got the all seeing eye. Yeah, she's accused, Beyonce is accused of witchcraft by her ex-drummer, Kimberly Thompson, who even asked the judge, I remember reading about this years ago, asked the judge of LA Supreme Court to issue a restraining order against her, which was refused for lack of certain evidence against the pop star. Thompson, who had accompanied Beyonce on tour for 7 years, had reported that she had been the victim of abuse and harassment, as well as have had their movements financed. In addition, Beyonce would have cast spells at her of black magic that would have caused the death of a cat. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. I'm glad I found this article. So yeah, like she couldn't even get a restraining order against her. Just like Jaguar Wright. These are people who have been around these people. It's not just hearsay. It's not just something they made up. These are people who have been intimately around these people and spent time, just like with Gene Deal. My next live, I will go deeper into Gene Deal's tie to Diddy. When I watch Gene Deal's content, I do believe him. Here's the thing. When you're a bodyguard, your job is to protect, not to get involved. And I believe Gene Deal knows a lot. He saw a lot. He says he has footage as well, just like Jaguar Wright. And there are interviews of Jaguar Wright and Gene Deal together where they are confirming each other's stories. The shit is deep, but God has the final say. The Most High God. Not these lower vibrational deities that these people are sacrificing themselves another to. The Most High God is pulling the cloak off of all of this. The veil is being removed. It started with T.D. Jakes last year and earlier this year. You notice T.D. Jakes hasn't said shit either. And he stepped down from his church after certain things got exposed about his proclivities at the freak-offs. Because why in the fuck is a pastor at a Diddy party? Really ask yourself that. Why would T.D. Jakes, who is a false prophet, the Bible said that in the last days, perilous times shall come. Many shall come in my name. There shall be many false prophets that come in my name. Jakes is definitely one of the biggest ones. So is Joel Osteen, who has a church right here in Houston, who didn't help not nan person who was affected by Hurricane Beryl. Different life for that. You notice none of these preachers are getting involved in any of this shit. You know why? Because they were at these freak-off parties too. Diddy has so much dirt on people, they're all afraid to speak. But God is exposing it all. So before I end this live, I want to send healing to every victim who had to suffer abuse from Diddy. I want to send healing to everybody I know in real life who has suffered the same type of physical or sexual abuse, especially in my family, my siblings. And to those who have covered up this shit, may you be exposed as well. Because some of y'all in these churches act like you holding it out. If people really knew who you were behind closed doors, they wouldn't fuck with you at all. Y'all are going to get exposed too. So talk your shit about me speaking my truth. Understand I'm divinely protected by the Most High first and foremost, and by my angels, ancestors, and spirit guides. Any energy that rises up against me shall fall by the wayside immediately and be destroyed. Chaos and confusion shall come about their lives. Death and hell shall fall their evil intentions back them. Every evil eye, every curse, every death prayer, every prayer for negative things that happen shall not come near me whatsoever. It shall not come near or nigh, but it shall be returned to you immediately upon the very intention, let alone you even uttering this shit out of your mouth. Now, with that being said, that is how a high vibrational spiritualist protects themselves. Because I already know the shit you're saying and doing because I see it, I feel it, and I hear it. Can't hide shit from a psychic medium. You can't hide shit from an empath. You can't hide shit from a clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient person. I know everything you're saying and doing, and it has no power over me. And remember that the demons hear and tremble, and that the demons even work on my behalf for my highest good. Yo demons fuck with me. So before you think you're about to come against me, understand I have dominion over your demons because I have the Most High God within me. And they must bow down. Period. Now, good night and God bless. And to all of y'all fucked up people, may you get your fucked up energy in return, reverse back to sender. And again, shout out to my subscribers. Shout out to my DzPeepz. We are going deep with these lives. That's why I told y'all always, my channel is raw and uncensored. I don't sugarcoat shit. I'm a very direct to the point Scorpio, very outspoken, very authentic, very real. And I will never, ever co-sign a predator. I will never support a predator. I will always expose this shit until it stops and until everyone who has done this shit, not just Diddy, every celebrity, every person involved, God is going to expose you all. Please understand, the Most High is exposing you all. And I'm talking about even people I know in real life, outside of Diddy. This is the year of exposure. In 2025, a lot of people finna go down. The last shall be first, the first shall be last. The chosen shall inherit the earth. And we are here. We are the new gods. And ain't shit y'all can do about it. Good night.